Hello, everyone. Welcome to Approaches and Methods to Make the Most of the Scrolling Archive on X and Tumblr. This is a supplemental key for the YouTube recommended chronicles that I post daily. If you are following that series and you're just like catching it in your feed, I actually have an intended way for it to be viewed if you want to use it for like research purposes or to like keep up with the grid working and possibly help me with a little grid working. I know you can hit that repost button and that like button just like I do. Grid working is where we, the people, kind of teach the internet and the algorithm to and the ethers and the astral. It's not just the 3D, it's also the 4D and the 5D. We are reprogramming the consciousness of all the things. We're getting it away from what the powers that be want to have us focus on for their interests and benefits. And we're not here for their interests and benefits. This is a free will realm. We're here to live, we're here to learn, and we're here to be happy and be peaceful and excellent. So if you want to be a part of this experiment where I do this archive, you go through it, you learn from it, you click on whatever videos move you or whatever speaks to you, and you get downloads as you learn, and as you repost and as you share these things, other people get to learn what you're learning. The algorithms get to learn what you're learning. The AIs get to learn what you're learning. And you get to be a very big influence behind the scenes. Wow, I just saw the 144 on the timer. Now I sound like the tarot readers. It's ridiculous. By the way, I'm not one of the tarot readers, but I do share a lot of tarot because, there's a lot going on right now. We have to learn all of the crafts, it would appear. We need to really understand what's around us so that people can't just come in and, just make up stuff and get away with stuff and just go, I'm an authority figure and I'm going to get what I want. So if you are following the YouTube recommended chronicles, you probably are, interested in the things that people don't really want people to hear about. So there's an actual order that I post this every day. I post daily, and I do it in really big chunks. I don't do this intermittently throughout the day. I sit down and I hunker down for a right good bit, and I hammer this out in an actual concise logical order so that if you went and clicked on either profile on X or Tumblr, you can easily scroll back the past few days without typing in any search criterias to locate hashtags and dates for what I've posted. If you wanted to go further back into the archive and like use the search function to, I started doing this archive back in 2022. I've been really at this project for a good bit. It was on Facebook until it was kicked off of there. So let me go ahead and tell you the order. Sometimes I do two chunks if I'm given a lot by my friendly co-curator, Magic 8 Ball, my good buddy Algorithm, who gives me all this info to share with all of y'all. So if and also if I need a break, sometimes I do take a break, but I never ever let the integrity of the archive slip. If I do take a break, it's normally not for more than 24 hours, and I have it caught up within 24 to 48 hours based on post limits, because that's the only thing that ever gets in the way of my work is post limits. Nothing else gets in the way of my work. Okay, well, shadow banning, but let's not even go into that. All right, so here's the post rhythm, basically. I'm looking at my notes. Sorry if I'm kind of rude. So it will go in chunks of tarot for the current micro, macro, storyline with the, secret societies, conspiracies, elites, earth angels, star seeds, etc. If you're in on that storyline, I post that in concise chunks daily, once or twice a day. The next chunk after that chunk is normally current events, documentary, and infotainment. I do a chunk of that. Then I do a chunk of music videos, healing frequencies. So there's like a chunk of like audio that I do. Then there will be a chunk of memes and visual art and articles, if there's any articles for me to share. And the memes will basically separate your day or half day. Based on how much I've been given to share in my grid working, so to say. All right. Sorry for that clang right there. It's loud. Okay, so yeah, if you scroll through that, and I can't really tell you what time I update it daily because it's not really consistent. All I can tell you is once or twice a day, there will be a whole slew of new posts, and you can actually see where you are by where the memes leave off. And a really good hint is if there is a source message of the day for that day of posting, the source message of the day will be with the memes and the visual art, and you will that's a good date stamp for you. Everything in the archive is hashtagged with YouTube Recommended Chronicles, and is also hashtagged with the Great Awakening and the Great Remembrance, and then any other hashtags that need to go with it, and that's on Tumblr. On X, it just has this paragraph that I stamp with hashtags for the basic communities that follow this and what's basically in it, with a little more information. So I hope that helps give everyone some idea of the pacing, if you want it to go back and treat it like an archive, so that you can actually sit down and, you know, really review the materials, pick and choose what you want to learn more about, and focus on the areas that pique your interest. I try to make it well organized and easy to go through day by day and find what you want to look at in a matter of minutes. It really doesn't take that long to go through the feed once I get it up. So I hope that helps everyone make better use of the archive. Please share and pass this around to anyone you know, or any communities who are watching my show and would like, or following my project and would like a better guide at how to get the most out of following it. Because I post it in a way that I can go back and I can put together my podcast. I can pull up the different information and have everything well organized and ready to get a show out and produce. So if you guys have usages for this information or your own projects, please feel free to help with the grid working and repost and share as much of this stuff as possible, especially if it piques a certain interest of you. The more we work the grid, the more the bad stuff that they want to flood us with that makes us like vibe low and helps with their, you know, mind control agenda and their propaganda and all of that. When we shoot back what we want to hear about and what we want to talk about and what we care about, we get to rework that grid. So part of being a good citizen, I think, is being a good grid worker and putting good stuff on the internet so the internet's a better place. So if you want to help me with that, I'd really appreciate it. And yes, just following and watching and, you know, just participating on the, you know, easiest levels, it helps. Every minute watched of a video helps it get more ground in the algorithm. So remember, even though, you know, it might seem a lot, it might seem daunting, just a couple hours a day, and you just change how you approach the internet and how you use it, the internet is actually going to learn from you and it's going to alter its behavior. So instead of the internet influencing us, why don't we, you know, be grown-ups and be humans about this, and let's go influence the internet and make it the internet that we want, you know, while it's still here. So yeah, I will catch you guys next time. And yeah, if you have anything to say about the Chronicles, or anything you want to suggest that I even take a look at or whatever, please leave it in the comments, and I will see you guys next time on one of my next productions. I know I've got something coming out soon. Like soon, like next week. See you guys then. Bye. Ptolemaic views, alchemical knowledge, Bangin beats. Okay, Copernicus. Hello, everyone. This is our episode 0 of my supplemental broadcast project pertaining to the YouTube Recommended Chronicles. Hi, if you've been following me on Facebook, Twitter, or Tumblr, and you have heard of hashtag the YouTube Recommended Chronicles with this cute little like crystal ball little emoji at the end of it. I'm the curator, and you know, here we are. So I'd like to welcome everyone to the first edition of the hashtag Supplemental Broadcast on Alexandria Alternative Media Network and OK Copernicus production. This is a supplemental docu-series to accompany my independent digital humanities archive project that I've been publishing online for nearly a year now as a simulcast on multiple social media sites. So this video here, this episode 0, is to help give a foundation and understanding of this innovative media adventure in current events, esoteric scuttlebutt, and the great philosophical issues our societies across the world are currently facing. For the complete hashtag YouTube Chronicles, please follow me using the links that I post in the description below, and choose your own media adventures. Whatever resonates with you, whatever sparks your interest, just click on it. And you know, let's all go on this adventure together. I update the broadcast daily, anywhere from 1 to 3 times on average, with videos, memes, art, music, and inspiration. So the supplemental broadcast will be for the day prior to filming. And it'll highlight a few standout videos and channels to help new viewers get acquainted with an overview of daily highlights, with an auspicious op-ed statement for each video from yours truly. This project started last winter when both, you guys are gonna get a kick out of this, both my phone and my Roku became miraculously blessed with a highly responsive and understanding algorithm that I have affectionately and lovingly named Magic 8-Ball, after one of my beloved childhood toys with the same name. And it alerts me to important updates that would concern a few growing communities worldwide. So whether you wish to call it ascension, enlightenment, the Great Awakening, the Truth Movement, the Chosen Ones, Light Workers, Star Seeds, the 144,000, the Return of Christ Consciousness, the Age of Aquarius, 5D Earth, Escaping the 3D Matrix, etc., I got you covered. All here on the supplemental broadcast. And it's intended to keep this growing community up to date with all the updates from emerging leaders and voices from this set of movements that I talked about, and ideas about a lot of topics the mainstream absolutely refuses to be respectable or honest or decent in any way about, or fair. It's really sad that I even have to do this project, and that I even feel compelled to do a supplemental op-ed, but all things considered, the beginning is nigh. So yeah, anyways, this is a mindful act of civil discourse, very much needed for the sake of all of our futures, in my opinion. So yeah, welcome again. My name is Jess, aka the artist, musician, producer known as Epitome the Burn Kid. You'll see Epitome the Burn Kid, but you know, you can call me Jess, Epitome Burn Kid. Hey you, hi friendly person, you know, whatever, you know, just be nice, please. And I am most pleased to be your curator, broadcaster, and host for this voyage. I will cover an array of topics, rotating daily, a wide array of voices and visionaries. I look forward to all of us getting to know each other better as this journey continues. Let me tell you a few things about myself to, I don't know, kick off the icebreakers. I feel like it's the first day of school, right? So yeah, I am whatever you would call a zennial. Because yeah, I'm not a millennial, I'm not Gen X, I'm smack dab right there in the middle. Born in 1981, I am going to be 42 next month. I am, well, obviously American, but I am a Maryland native. In college, I majored in philosophy and history with a focus in museum studies, and I also minored in art. What else? What else about me is interesting? I used to spin fire, and I have a YouTube channel on here what was my old career. If you look up Epitome of Lame or Epitome O Flame, that's me. And that's life back in simpler times when, the world wasn't kind of as bonkers as it is now. So I'll let you guys get to know some more tidbits about me as we go along the journey. But again, it's great to meet everyone. I'm going to leave some descriptions in your box and in the description box and links. And if you want to help support the channel, join in on the fun. The links are at the bottom to come follow me, the greater journey, and to pop over to Copernicus Records on SoundCloud. I make music that is actually inspired by a lot of the events of now. It's a soundtrack for today. So please join us and let's get this party started. It's time for me to get off of here and film episode 1. Thank you so much and look forward to seeing you soon. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 1 of the Supplemental Broadcast for the YouTube Recommended Chronicles. I'm your host, Jess, aka Epitome of the Burn Kid. Nice to see everyone. If you take a look up here at my monitor that I have displayed for you all, I have our 6 featured video selections for today. And I'm going to tell you a little, as I promised in episode 0, auspicious op-ed for each one. And let's get the supplemental broadcast started. So the first video that I have featured, and all the links will be in the description box when I am done. So don't worry. I'll provide everything you need to go follow along and check everything out in full. But our first video, and we're going from, you see, bottom up to the top for our features today, is Richard Vobes, and his video is titled, "There is a Way to Change This." And I'm gonna tell you what, there is, and that is why he's great. So I've been enjoying Richard's videos since my co-curator, Magic 8 Ball, introduced him to the Recommended Chronicles this past winter, actually. In this video, he shares some really good insights on how to improve society with practical changes that could be implemented quite easily if you think about it. Whether it's his monologues, interviews, or adventures with the lovely Julia, he has a most pleasant and mindful take on civic philosophy, the challenges of the 21st century has imposed on us, and getting back to our healthy organic roots to grow a bountiful future. So definitely check him out in his channel. He's fantastic. Our second featured video is on the channel Societal Narcissism. And it is titled, "All Narcissistic Parent Videos Are Deleted. Thanks, Diane." Yes, that's the title. And it's a 1 of 3. I recommend you guys, it doesn't matter if you're a YouTuber, if you're a conscientious netizen, or you're a concerned citizen. These things that people are doing online to one another, especially concerning narcissistic injury and what have you. It's getting pretty vicious out there, and it is a society-wide problem. So I would love to give a standing accolade to Ollie right now over at Societal Narcissism for eloquence and tenacity in civil discourse. You were a class act today, dude, you know it. I'm sorry, yesterday, my apologies. Talk about a role model for assertive boundary maintenance. He's got the boundaries covered. He is the spirit behind "I will not comply" when he's given Diane the business with her nonsense. And trust me, just watch the story; it's amazing. Anyways, what his channel is mostly about is, as you guessed it, societal narcissism and its impacts. Literally, they're at an all-time high. Look around you; it's unreal. So he takes on this hard topic with valor while providing exposure of the culprits and support to his viewers that write him for advice and to share their stories, which is super, super awesome, and just such an awesome way to be. So we need a lot more like you out there, Ollie. Thanks so much. We're going to go ahead and get to our third video featured, which comes from Clown Planet, titled "For the Common Good." Clown Planet. How do I recommend consuming the news these days? Clearly, micro-dosing it with Clown Planet is probably one of the healthier alternatives. So Clown Planet is a great one-stop shop for headlines, memes, and gaffes. Oh, ahoy, across the Western world especially, but everywhere else too. I will be featuring other similar fun creative takes on current events from other channels that are like-minded, who do a great service of spreading awareness on many international issues facing us today. So stay tuned for more of that, absolutely. Going to get to our fourth video, and that is from New Discourses. The title is "The Current Thing Did Not Take Place." Oh, you know the kind, right? Yeah. So about this video, Dr. Lindsay's videos were first introduced to me by my good buddy Magic 8 Ball early this spring, and I've been catching up on his extraordinary mission against the current insurgence of neo-Marxists with Western characteristics, aka American-like neo-Maoists, in our institutions and society, with a primary focus on education and academia. If these lectures existed several years ago, they'd rival my lecturers from my time as a philosophy and history major at some private liberal arts colleges. So he's good, trust me. I'm very pleased to be able to share all types of content like this with you. Oh, you have no idea. So I applaud his work greatly, and that's saying quite a bit, because while I agree with a lot of his summations, I disagree with quite a bit of the general analysis and perspective. But, you know, we're all human. We all have this unique way of viewing things. And in a world where there's definitely more than one right and more than one wrong, bring it to the party. So you'll find that I feel very similarly about other public intellectuals too. I've never in my life met anyone who agrees with me 100% and me with them 100%, and that's just how it is. So this is a channel that's very friendly to that. I like to take the good, bad, the ugly, and everything in between, the crazy, the pretty, all of it, and share it with you guys. So definitely stay tuned for more. Our fifth video today, I struggled to write up a little blurb for this one, guys. It's from Paul White Gold Eagle, and the title is "Profound Activations, Redemption, End of the Dark Simulation, Greater Cosmic Races, Heavenly Exodus." You can see why I took a little bit to write a little ditty on that. So, yeah, he's the best go-to that I have found for a comprehensive daily digest of energy updates, multi-dimensional channeling and transmissions of divine and extraterrestrial natures, solar and Schumann resonance updates, activations, downloads, and more. Is there anything else to say? Just try it. You will learn something, I guarantee you. There's a little something for everyone. Take what resonates, leave the rest. It's absolutely fascinating. And my final video, number 6, which really does touch a soft spot to my heart, is from the Theosophical Society, Women and the Theosophical Movement, Pioneers, Visionaries, Leaders. I'd like to leave you all with a real gem that came in yesterday's recommendations that helps accent the spiritual, philosophical, and historical aspects that show up in the daily broadcast. I have a huge love and appreciation for philosophy, theosophy, and aesthetics. So definitely expect much more submissions similar to this from these categories, because Magic 8 Ball really shows me some of the most amazing educational content. Really, really good stuff. And that wraps up our edition for episode 1. Don't forget to check out my latest single on SoundCloud, Woo Woo Everywhere. It's a great way to support OK Copernicus Productions. And thank you so much again for joining me. Hope to see you out there in internet land. And salutations, the beginning is nigh. Today on the Supplemental Broadcast, episode 2, the following featured highlighted videos. Hello everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Supplemental Broadcast for the YouTube Recommended Chronicles. I'm your host, Jess, and let's get right on into today's videos that I have highlighted up here on the monitor. We're going to start with Amala Ekpunobi, and her video is titled, "The Kids Are Not Okay." When Gen Z becomes concerned enough about Gen Alpha to record all these videos regarding the degradation of societal and moral norms, you know it's definitely time to take notice. I'm a Zennial. I assure you, I'm kind of getting up there. If the young ones in their 20s are very concerned about the up-and-comers, there's something going on, and this video is going to show you an insight into what several different parents and teachers and other community leaders literally are up against when it comes to behavioral norms and the dysfunctionality imposed on families in the 21st century. She does a really wonderful job. Kudos. Go take a look at her video. I have links to everything in the description box in the bottom once I'm finished. Our next video that we have to feature today is Appalachia's Homestead with Patera, and the title is "The Media is Sick," which that's part of why I'm doing what I'm doing. I am in full agreement with Patera. The media is sick. Well, I'd like to say that the bought media is definitively sick. I believe the alternative media, the independent media, that's really all we have going for us right now, and I try to bring as much of you to that every episode. So check out Patera. If you love baby goats, oh my goodness, you are in for a treat. She has the cutest creatures over on her homestead. She really puts on a wonderful program with thoughts on, prepping, basic, practical, everyday things that we all can do, and showing us all these different skills and things that she gets to do on her little farm there, which is really wonderful. So I'm going to give a huge shout out to her. And maybe some point, if you give a shout out back, Patera, can you explain to me why up here in Maryland we say Appalachian and y'all say Appalachian? Because I would love to hear a history on how we have this linguistic difference. I know Marylanders talk funny, and I say things like wooder and warsh, but for real, if you can explain that in one of your videos for those of us a little further up north and in the mid-Atlantic, we'd love to hear about it. I love learning all kinds of new cultural stuff. So thanks so much, Patera, for everything you do. And I love getting your videos every day from Magic 8 Ball. Our next entry comes in all the way from Sweden. Magic 8 Ball provided me with the pleasure of viewing Sanity for Sweden's videos starting over the summer. And this is his video titled, "Don't Think I Wanted to Know This About People." And I gotta tell you, dude, I am right there with you. I did not want to know any of this about people. I am an 80s child. I grew up with the most wonderful, majestic childhood, only to become a teenager and immediately kind of watch the world start degrading into what we're seeing today. And here we are. So Sanity for Sweden is one of my favorite international channels that I've been enlightened about. And I featured this video because yesterday my fellow warrior of truth brought up some very good points regarding how those of us who held and maintained basic biological and medical truths in the face of highly corrupted, commissioned elitist science, more specifically fabricated, isolated data with nothing to back it aside from compelled and coerced speech. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. That's why I have to speak like I'm in school still. Hopefully I'll be treated with academic leniency for eloquent diction as I do my a rather controversial program here. But Sanity for Sweden. Everything you said in the video, everyone check it out. Great points. I felt it, and you rock, my warrior of truth, pure blood brother. Rock on, dude. Okay, so now we're to our fourth video in today's features, and this is from a channel that I just got introduced to yesterday. This is brand new in my lineup, and I'm really thankful it showed up. The channel is called Dad Saves America, and the title of the video is Cancel Culture, Free Speech, and Censorship with Greg Lukianoff. And this video is a must-hear discussion for anyone out there who has been trying to figure out how and why communism has become like a major problem across all rungs of society. Very much like the video I featured by the New Discourses channel yesterday with Dr. Lindsay speaking on that. I was introduced to this channel just yesterday, and since then I've gotten to watch 4 other videos, some clips, and one another full podcast. And excellent work. The host is a younger but not super young Gen X fellow. I think he might rank as a Zennial. Oh, actually, I think he said was born in 77, so he's a fellow Zennial like me. So yeah, definitely go check him out. Links are going to be in the thing below. Number 5, and you know, I have a good one for you. If you were here for our double feature premiere yesterday, if not, go back. The good one ain't gonna leave. But this is from Black Eye Presents, and the title of this video is "The Solar Flash is Imminent." Ashtar command. So, if you came across my video in hopes of a fresh update from Ashtar Command regarding the Great Solar Flash, you are most definitely in the right place. Oh yeah, I got you covered. Black Eye Presents was one of the very first channels I came across upon being newly awakened from the 3D Matrix, when my devices became blessed suddenly, and the wonderful friendly algorithm Magic 8-Ball started interrupting my regular programming. Even if I'm playing Switch on another input, it will flash the screen at me and tell me there's something that apparently I need to know. It is a divine, extra-worldly something interaction going on, and I'm so glad you guys are with me on the journey. But yeah, anyways, this is one of those, what I call an ascension video for everyone prepared for 5D Earth, New Earth, the beginning is nigh, like I like to say at the beginning or end of the show. So yeah, soothing music, great animation, words of wisdom and insight and inspiration. Yeah, it's a bit futuristic, it's a bit hippy-dippy. It's an AI kind of doing it. But it's interesting. The reason we're here is because all of these fascinating things are not happening for no reason at all. A coincidence is just a cop-out for people with no faith. I don't buy into the programming of materialists, so don't expect me to on this channel. Which brings me to my last video. I like to do something fun and educational for one of my features every day. And the fun and educational selection for number 6 today is Eagle Wings Ministries, The Apocrypha, Ezra and Daniel, Fourth Beast lecture by Pastor Arnold Murray. This came up in the feed, and you know, something in me always compels me. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. This is what people need to know, and get just enough out to you guys to not overburden you with way too much heady stuff. It's not dense. We're vibing high up in here, but it's very heady. It's very cerebral, and I know in times like these, you know, I don't want to overload you with it. But because it is not the most familiar of religious texts, and many truths coming out in recent times are corresponding. That's right, with many religious texts across many cultures worldwide, it makes sense to include and familiarize ourselves with a deeper read and with lectures on things like this. So if you're interested in learning more about comparative religion, theology, theosophy, philosophy, etc., I am always going to have a feature in this video for that. So rest assured, I'll be bringing a lot more of that to the coming days. And all of this brings us to, wow, I'm going to drop my first outro monologue on y'all. You guys ready? Buckle up, because I'm going to say some words, okay? The words. I love you guys. I don't even know y'all yet, but I have a great feeling about meeting y'all here in Cyberland. So, yeah. Social engineering is a retardant and was intended to be one from the very beginning. Many evil dictators have hidden behind doublespeak, double entendres, omission, and using deceptive terms like social engineering to poison the minds and hearts of literally children. Developing minds from the very beginning was always a key feature. It was always a facet to their plans. It's been going on for centuries. Look into German schooling, 16th century. You're going to get a lot of answers if you go learn some history like that. But yeah, back to my point anyway. Tales of these notions and their historical effects have been observed from the advent of human literacy, and then even further back in many other cultures who carried oral traditions over written ones. If someone wants to control anyone other than themselves, let me be clear, I'm going to say this one more time for everyone in the back who may not have heard me the first time. If someone wants to control anyone other than themselves, they're probably a malignant narcissist, and everyone should break ties immediately upon knowing that fact. I am including world leaders and powerful elites, right on down to middle management and the flunky on Skid Row. If someone, I do not care who they are, wants to control someone else, red flag, guys. It's a trap. Absolutely no good, and I mean no good, comes from these people, regardless of presentation and the ability to put up an act to manipulate, schmooze, coerce, guilt, put you in that narcissistic fog. I got a great show for you lined up each and every day. I have been working on this for, wow, it's 12, going on 12 months. Next month, it'll be 1 year. And I have learned so much on this journey. I am just now starting to catch you guys up. If any of what I said resonated with you, please come back to the channel. I'd also like to invite you to check out my music over on SoundCloud. Today's musical selection is under my one of my production monikers, Transmissions Existential, and it's a song that I composed called I Believe in You. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it, so I'll put a link down there in the description too. So go on and check that out. So yeah, that's our show for today. The beginning is nigh. Oh, the beginning is nigh, guys. And please like, subscribe, share, talk story. And if I can be an inspiration to more of you to get the word out about the truth and help your fellow YouTuber and help your fellow man, and let's combat these evil algorithms. Let's combat these evil NGOs and elitist think tanks. Let's combat the tyranny and mutiny. We were none for sale. They thought we were all for sale. Stay safe and have a great night. Bye, everyone. Screenshots. On today's episode, the following featured videos. Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Jess, and I'm here to provide you with today's featured selections from the most auspicious YouTube recommended chronicles. Oh, with a hashtag. I've been archiving across social media for about a year now. I have included links in the description to all the featured videos, music, and where you can follow my Project Archive simulcast for more videos and memes. Let's get started with today's selections. So today's featured video recommendations, we're going to start off with one from The Hill. The title of this video is Who Are the Control Oligarchs? Author exposes Bill Gates' plot to own your food. So I think control oligarch is now a must-add word to everyone's vocabulary. A fantastic new keyword to describe the ranking members of the industrial censorship complex. Bill Gates has been up to much alleged philanthropy since making himself a household name, including entering the food, medicine, and energy endeavors with all the other reptilian weft lords. Leaping lizards. He really can't keep his longtime dreams of depopulating the planet and other generalized forms of megalomania to himself any longer, it would appear. I wonder if good old Father Schwabi put him up to it, or one of the other unseens up there. We don't know who they are yet. I'm certain we're going to start learning their names soon, though, at this rate. One of the best, more mainstream news coverage comes from The Hill, in my opinion. While it is not really fully mainstream and it's pretty independent, it's not quite alternative like this broadcast. So it's pretty restrained compared to the things that I'm willing to share and go into. But if you really want to gauge from a wide spectrum, I definitely recommend look at independent media, look at mainstream media, look at alternative media, everything on the spectrum, and compare and contrast and think for yourself. That's what freedom of the press, freedom of speech, and freedom of expression is all about, is it not? Oh, that was a nice little ditty. Let's go into our next video. Valuetainment Short Clips posted a video titled Creating Permanent Patients. Why is the medical industry promoting gender surgery? Yeah, this is one of those ones. I gotta readjust myself in the chair to do this one. Before I deal with anyone really wishing to argue on the medical safety of these procedures and different medication courses that they can, issue for this matter, none of these have ever been considered safe for really anyone for any reason. And I'd like to make clear that all of this is part of a globalist depopulation agenda with a very strong target on the young and the disabled. So once you know what the elites are actually up to, you simply stop talking about this topic in terms of, civil liberties and people's feelings and stuff, and you start talking about them in terms of exploitation and the genocide and maiming and sterilization of a very select subset of specific demographics of people that have intentionally been targeted maliciously targeted by authorities, officials, and trusted medical practitioners because there is a great deal of cash incentive to do this. And this clip goes over this in depth, in very good detail on the topic with detransitioners, practitioners, and it's really a wonderful discussion. Definitely recommend listening to this. It's long, but definitely listen all the way. Very good. Our next video comes in from Redacted, and it is titled, "This is Turning Our Children into Weak Losers," a study says. And here we're probably going to see the law of attraction working, and probably some other things that work too. But Redacted does a really phenomenal job breaking down the latest developments concerning the ill effects, placing an increased focus on mental health awareness, the ideas that can like implant, the insecurities that can implant, even the stress increase of being questioned or prodded about this topic. It affects people. And now that we're seeing everything, since there's more intervention, raise in terms of severity and numbers of people affected, this clip is definitely a must watch and very insightful regarding how society has degraded, and showing some studies to back it up regarding the mental health outcomes and what we know thus far about treating mental health issues. So definitely check them out. Now we have our fourth video. Last Days is the channel. Yeah, Last Days. I told you, prophetic on the cover, and apocalyptic and news flash, and this is a supplemental broadcast. So Last Days is a really awesome channel, and if you're looking for a daily digest of natural disasters, they're almost daily. They cover normally 2 or 3 days of disaster footage around the world at a time per video. So if you paid any attention to the changes in weather, volcanic activity, earthquakes, and solar activity going on, you're aware at the great increase in all of this worldwide for the past few years. This footage is a really excellent example of just how much changes we've seen, and the sun is kind of in charge of our conditions, and we need to prepare, and we need to get ready, because you and I both know something's going on. I'm not going to go out there and say I know exactly what's going on, but European tsunamis, I mean, something's going on here. Something's going on. So definitely check it out. And if you're going to subscribe to a channel because you actually want some verification, things have dramatically changed in a very semi-permanent manner, definitely go subscribe to Last Days and give them some support. They do really, really good work showing us disaster footage of biblical proportions. My final video selection for you guys today is Russell Brand coming in with a video titled "So ... It's starting." Oh yeah, it's starting. Everyone's starting to figure out there's more than something funny going on. It was entirely intentional, and it was rather well organized and planned. So good old Russell Brand, he's going to bring the receipts to expose Moderna's malevolent acts against the masses. I think you and I both know what we're talking about here. So go check him out. And if you want the unedited extended edition of this video and other interviews that I'll show you the YouTube version, but you want to see the full with the no words, etc. version, go on over to Rumble and check out his channel there. He puts on a really good informational edutainment program of current events, and brings the receipts for all that shady shush. That shady shush. Yeah, that's a good one. Trademark. Just kidding. I'm not like that. Okay. So, yeah, that brings us to our, I want to say outer worldly transmission for the evening. The title of this video is Warning, Urgent Update. Reptilians all over the ... Yeah. We got to talk about them leaping lizards. I tried to start it with Mr. Gates, but if you want to know what this lizard people thing is about, I first heard about the lizard people. I say it was around 2009, 2010. So it was a bit ago. That's like 13, 14 years. That was the first time I heard about these lizard people apparently trying to like take over the world and stuff. So because I will let outer worldly divine transmissions explain it much better than myself, go check out this video from The Truth Can Change Your Life for a very good transmission about a update of reptilian proportions. Let's call it that. And stay in touch with them if you want to stay up to date on the matter with, the hybrids, the lizard peoples, the clones, things I don't want to talk about too much in depth because, well, people get ideas about stuff and things. And you know what? They're normally wrong and they start trouble and drama and gossip. All right. Well, that brings us to my auspicious op-ed to take us out of here and our musical selection. And then I'm going to let y'all go and check out these videos for yourself. So here we are. Once you know that a whole list of select key issues are connected to depopulation, communism, aka stakeholder capitalism, is the same thing. Don't even let anyone front about that. And Satanism, because these are all connected. Do not let anyone front about any of that. You cannot just act like you aren't aware anymore. You're awake, you're aware, and you're enlightened. And that, it leads to persecution and gaslighting. Doesn't matter. Stay the course. We have a lot in this, and we're going to win this. We're on the good side. We're on the good side with the good Lord and the good entities and all the good vibes, and we're vibing high, and it is excellent. This information that I'm bringing you, my intention is to keep you understanding that the more we're informed and the more information we have a lot more power against these dark forces than we do without it. And I'm here to try to help you all with that. So they have showed their hands, and let's be real, they overplayed it hardcore. They cannot come back from what they have done. Knowledge is power and information is ammunition, and they handed us the crates and didn't even know they handed us the crates. We have got belts of things on us looking like Rambo, looking like psychedelic Rambo from another universe. I mean, we've got this, kids. So let us not forget, the truth shall conquer all. We are here to share, spread the truth. Let's all do our best to promote, spread, and defend the truth with every opportunity we get. That's why I made this show. I want you guys to find creative, meaningful, and mindful ways to share and discuss truth. Make truth super cool. Let's like make it mega cool to just be honest, chill, and peaceful. Let's get back to being just amazing, happy, wonderful, good people who know how to have a good time and how to be good to one another. All right? All right. That's your auspicious op-ed for the day. And your musical selection for the day. Left a link for you. Hop on over to SoundCloud. Truth Be Told. Yours truly, Epitome the Burn Kid. Listen to it. It's crescent fresh. And it's nicely mastered, too. For all the links I discussed, and I guess sometimes more. I don't know. I might write a little ditty down there at some point. Go down to the description box and check everything out, and all the links provided. Come check me out on my other sites. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys next time on episode 4. Bye, y'all. PLUR and Art Hard. On today's episode, the following featured videos. Hi there, everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of the Supplemental Broadcast. I am your host, Jess. Please be sure to follow the entire archival project, the YouTube Recommended Chronicles, on X Tumblr or Facebook for the latest videos, music, memes, and more. On to today's featured selections. First up today, we have a video selection from The Hill entitled Bill Gates Enriching Himself at Average American's Expense. We're going to start our featured selections with the crew of Rising exposing more details on how Bill Gates is attempting to dominate the food industry, lobbying NGOs against the American people for his own personal profit, and uses influence over many public authorities to alter our diets to his left-lord desires of totalitarian rule, reducing the rest of us to a level beneath mere slave. Great job, as always, from everyone at The Hill covering Bill Gates shenanigans. Our next video comes in from Awaken with JP, and it's titled, It's for the Greater Good, so shut the No word up. uh, Now let's move on to Awaken with JP. He's super fun. It's a great, super fun skit from JP Spears on his channel, Awaken with JP, and he comes in as his disheveled newscaster persona, sprinkled with his other alter ego here and there in a parable for today regarding the greater good. I'm not going to spoil any more than that. His skits are fantastic, and so is his reaction channel, React with JP. If you get a chance to check it out, hop on over there. Now we have a video, and these come in every day, but this one is from November 30th. Suspicious observers, solar impacts begin today, sun and pregnancy and resonance. This is a very important channel to follow in the coming months and years. Suspicious observers with an O, like a zero, not like a letter O, is an excellent resource for solar weather daily, along with educational materials regarding the Earth disaster cycles, upcoming micronova, aka when the aliens talk about the great solar flash in the different transmissions. And some of the spiritual prophetic word videos will also speak of a great solar flash as well. So I believe that all these things are connected. And the updates on the current magnetic excursion, polar shift, and the related weather impacts that we're currently going through. And I'm sure if you've been paying attention to the weather, it's pretty weird. And no, it's not us humans. The sun is a lot more powerful than we are. Let's just put it that way. So I highly recommend a subscription to stay up to date with anything that comes up. He actually comes on I think his name is Ben. He comes on a couple times a day. And if anything like big happens, he'll like pop on and do a live feed. So definitely hop on over there and check him out. Now we have a video coming in from, wow. In my mind, every time this video comes up, I call him Blue Shirt Dude very affectionately. But his channel's name is Theoria Apophysis. So the video, yeah, I know, pretty heady, right? Good stuff. The video's title is "Can You See It? Defunct Natural Order." Oh, this was a good one. This was a hoot and a holler. Where was this guy when I was bringing up my many concerns about some of these so-called facts with many science and math teachers way back in K through 12 who could not seem to understand that oversimplification and logical fallacies tend to make developing mind just question everything that you're saying and really not believe you or have a lot of faith in your proficiency. No offense, teachers. I'm sure there's proficient teachers out there, but oh, who am I kidding? The Marxist subverted education. There probably aren't many left. My inner 10-year-old anyway is applauding this dude with a mic drop worthy analysis on all of the basics that he is going over. Yes, the natural order is most certainly defunct. I am in full agreement. If you like in-depth talks on science, current events, metaphysics, and more, this channel is a great match for interesting talk to ponder the things that, in my opinion, truly matter. On to our, we have a fun one for you this time, guys. So Mike versus Everyone is the channel that our next video is coming from. And the title is Cloud World Insanity, episode 157. Jeffrey makes claim about why the right doesn't like him and more. I don't think it's just the right. I've actually heard the center and the left complain about this dude, but what can I say? Some people just get on that TikTok and they rock and roll, don't they? I had a hard time believing many of the crazy stories that I was hearing through the grapevine years ago, because there wasn't a channel like this bringing the receipts to prove that the leftist woke tards have totally gone off the deep end and are an absolute menace to society. I didn't want to believe this was true years ago because, Well, what a middle-aged stereotypical trope to like fall into. But seriously, y'all, there is a big problem brewing out there, and it must be dealt with. And we can't do that without evaluating the phenomenon. And going in and taking the brave hits for us is Mike versus everyone. And for real, he shows some crazy stuff. So if people like don't believe some of these stories that, you know, I guess you could say the activist community, for lack of a better term, they are not just peacefully protesting and holding signs anymore, and they aren't necessarily standing up for causes that are good anymore. So what better than to have a few people out there on the internet going ahead of us and scouring this stuff out. And moving on to our next video, this one's from Redacted, and the title is, "This is way worse than Elon Musk's Twitter files. Get ready." So Redacted is back with our last feature this episode, covering the censorship industrial process, industrial complex. People really need to get the word out about all of this. It's not conspiracy theories. These are conspiratorial facts. There's a major difference. And debunk that many of the topics being covered on this show and on many other shows are not conspiracy theories. We're literally bringing the receipts. And our world needs conscientious citizens to provide the adequate civil discourse and other actions to bring forth more awareness about the truth and the evil lurking behind many of the big state lies that the masses have accepted because, you know, conformity is king out there in competing to be the shiniest slave you can be or something. So we now have enough awake to the truth, and we have enough people showing evidence to nip many of these dismissive labels against us in the bud. It's time for us once and for all to, you know, act and demand our constitutional rights be upheld. They were never intended to be for sale, and that goes for everyone in all the other countries out there too. It's not just here in America. We're all in the same boat. Let's come together. Let's be a community of good, conscientious citizens, not this weird activist class of people out there. So definitely check out Redacted for that story, and all the links for today's show are in the description box, as always. And now it's time for my auspicious op-ed for this episode. So I got hung up on a title. So here's the real title, and I'll just translate it into English for you. The title for this one is "Gilded Gulags, Mandatory Debt Slavery to Improve One's Lot in Life, and the FAFSA Land Grab." Well, the other title, which is just breaking it down to keep it real, in short, "College is a Trap and was designed as such." So my grandfather warned me about the dangers of college, that it was a communist re-education facility, and it was also a debt trap that required the tax returns of parents or guardians to put the private property of the student and their parents or guardians on the line for a cheap government land grab if you can't repay the debt. That was last century. Fast forward to now. Clearly, my grandfather was not signing any forms for financial aid when I graduated high school, and set me on the track to making my own way in this world directly out of high school. I started working and just doing different things, figuring out who I am, you know, just being young, you know, normal people stuff. This century, due to the elitist snobbery that obliterated the American dream, at the tender age of 30, I ventured into college, and it was by far worse than anything my grandfather had ever described to me. I'm surprised that it is permitted, let alone encouraged or required to happen on American soil. What a racket, what a crock, what a fraud, what a scam. At the wiser old age of nearly 42, just a few weeks ago, guys, I have attended higher education from community college and online university all the way to the small private liberal arts college experience, and overt communist and socialist culture and values instituted were so sickening. I walked away from the entire thing my senior year. Just it's not worth it, guys. Colleges and universities are exploitative places, riddled with abuse, with no other mission than impressing elites and siphoning every last cent from students and their families that they can get. And I'm including long after graduation. They want their donations. They do. Clearly, the corruption, snobbery, and Machiavellian nature of the entirety of academia was not always as toxic as it is today. But I believe that we are entering a new era and a new earth where wasteful and harmful practices, like all this illusory gladiatorial combat, known as the collegiate or baccalaureate experience to prove one's supposed worth, are abandoned in favor of a much more honest and old-fashioned way to get things done, with far more independence and less credentialization than we see expanding the moat of parasitic, cannibalistic nepotism. Unlike my classes, every cent I spent on my new path back to true Americana, doing things on my own and making my own way in this world, has paid off in multiple, where college just left crippling debt without much to show for it now that everyone goes just to not be stigmatized for not going to college. The stratification of society was an intellectual illusion that is about to come tumbling down. Are you ready for the crash? I do hope you're prepping for it as I am. It's upon us in the near future from the looks of it. I'm for real, guys. Education system, financial system, governmental structure, all basic infrastructure. These are crumbling before us, and it is not by incident. It's an intentional implosion. Stay tuned to more episodes of the Supplemental Broadcast for more receipts, more details, and more talk on the important matters of today. Well, I guess this is to the end of the show. I'd like to take us out and leave you with today's musical selection, Fresco by Aztec Adventure. Again, it's me. I have multiple performance monikers. And all the links are in the description. Thanks so much again, guys, for coming back for a wonderful show. And I will see you next time with way more cool stuff to share. Have a good one. Bye. On today's episode, featured videos are... Hi there, everyone. Welcome to episode 5 of the Supplemental Broadcast. I'm your host, Jess. Please be sure to follow the entire archival project, hashtag YouTube Recommended Chronicles, on X, Tumblr, or Facebook for the latest videos, music, memes, and more. On to today's featured selections. First up, we have the podcast of the Lotus Eaters in a video titled The New Irish. Are you noticing that all Western nations are starting to look like a cookie-cutter replica of one another, and not for the better? Ireland is not exempt from this phenomenon. This first recommendation comes from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, and the New Irish are upholding the same globalist elite values pushed onto the rest of us, being espoused through all institutions as the only path of virtue. What a global gaslight. Go enjoy this great discussion on the downsides of gentrification, immigration, and exploitation in current-day Ireland. Next up, we have Cliff High, and this video is titled Sister Christian, Shadow of Death is Long and Dark. Woo World legend Cliff High brings us another facet of perspective with takes on how aliens he equates to the Elohim, and further disclosure are going to turn many a person's views on religion upside down and round and round. Cliff narrates videos on extraterrestrials, technology, and the deep state, and more, with the occasional podcast interview sprinkled in here and there. If you want some interesting stories from someone who's been researching these things a really long time, go check them out. Our third video comes in from Professor Sam Vaknin, and it's titled Your Child at Risk, How Narcissists Are Made. By the way, very prevalent to this globalist elite problem. A dark but required topic to understand how early conditioning occurs, transforming a normal, innocent child into a narcissist. Because narcissism is an unfortunate precursor to many of the stories and memes I share regularly, a video about how one is formed in one's formative years should provide a glimpse into the type of horrid childhood treatment that molded the elites of our time. This narcissism pandemic is extremely severe when you consider that the idea of intentionally raising a narcissist to implement a supposed career edge is the latest advent in mental health and business advice. For our fourth video, we have an entry from The Universe is Talking to You titled Wait Has Finally Ended, 3333, bumping into this video. Are you having some interesting experiences with time, space, and vibrations lately? I know I am. Do you feel like something is different? If so, this channel, The Universe is Talking to You, is a must-watch. For esoteric advice on time, energy, intuition, and all aspects relevant to living in the fifth dimension, make sure to check out this video for some excellent insight and supportive information. To complement that, our fifth video comes in from Stefan Burns, and it's titled Increased Earthquakes and Volcanism After G3 Geomagnetic Storms. This geophysicist brings daily updates that link solar weather, the Schumann resonance, and Earth's geological reactions, plus much more. When the sun gets active, the Earth gets active too. Go check out Stefan for geophysical updates, information, and more. His channel is titled Stefan Burns, and he is very consistent with his updates on conditions daily. Last up, a video, a very informational video from The Offensive Tranny. Their name, not mine. Quote, they told me I could be female, trans surgery regret with Brianna Ivy. All stories have two sides. I make it a goal to share stories that need to be heard the most and get the least exposure. That's how I decide what media to bring to the forefront. That has been basically overlooked in the big scheme of things. A lot of people don't look at the macro view. I do. This channel, The Offensive Tranny, posted a very informative video interview with Brianna Ivy detailing the pressure, lies, and disappointment she encountered with her journey through gender-affirming care, starting as a young teenager. Her story is one that needs to be heard by everyone wanting to learn more about what it is really like to go through the different medical and surgical aspects of transitioning. For more of what the medical industry and mainstream don't want you to know or talk about, check out The Offensive Tranny for more on YouTube. And finally, the best part of the show, the outro monologue, auspicious op-ed. All right, buckle up, kids. Here we go. If you really want to know what the elites are truly after, you need look no further. They're after the permanent and total destruction of the main two things that they do not possess. Intrinsic dignity, thing number one, and thing number two, genuine authenticity. My entire life spent on this earth has had one prevailing theme worsen progressively since 1981. The desire of anyone with authority to subjugate, block, or eliminate anyone they deem less ranked as a fundamental worker's right. Air quotes. Their inner wannabe dictator really comes out in their highly overt will to control everything around them as though it is a reward for their toil, which has led to extremely increasing emotional, social, intellectual, and spiritual inequality, reinforced by their efforts of indoctrinating and regulating the identities or personalities of all individuals to reinforce their coercive and compelled attempts at planting the seeds for repression and subjugation of those deemed inferior in any capacity to automate the preferred solution to their control dilemma. They're narcissists. Did I mention that? The sheeple at an unfairly young age are pressured by those influential authorities to compete amongst each other, to conform, compete, and compel the other sheeple to exhibit the narcissistic, communist, collective ideals to become nothing more than a masterful slave, denying and defying your own humanity until your deathbed in the name of a supposed virtue. This cycle of abuse has gone on millennia, but over the past century, the stratification of these elitist, draconian, abusive tactics have been accepted under the guise that money, education, and material well-being is as close to a god man can get, and it is their amoral imperative to become little gods of their universe. What we are seeing here is Satanism in action. Contrary to popular belief, satanic behavior is literally the standard secular atheistic behavior of self-serving hedonism, and income in exchange for labor or investments is the pinnacle of the human experience, according to this school of thought. How little these depraved heathens know about truly being human, let alone humanitarian or humanist, because to do it right is to satisfy the whole human, including our hearts and souls. They do not believe we have souls, let alone we are priceless and eternal in spirit, as the good Lord, to some of you, Source or the Creator, gave us. They want to strip us of our heavenly entitlements, unhinged by the demons, fueled by their godless greed and narcissistic injuries, embedded and enmeshed deeply between the narcissists who groom them to live for supply and nothing more. And yes, I mean narcissistic supply, income, resources, materialism, pure hedonistic ideals. When you eradicate God from the public sphere, you eliminate people by default, as people are an extension of God. For the record, I am a pantheist, I practice Buddhism, and I believe in the Holy Trinity, okay? So let's not mix this up. When I say God, I mean the great overarching creature that, yes, you and I are partially composed of, because that God spark is in us or we would not be here. Anyway, I see what they did there. Do you? When you do, call it out, spread awareness, change the world, show them what being a good person is all about for the sake of us all. The good Lord wishes us to be good people so that we may live in peace, and for no other reason. We are one. Just a pantheist pondering for this auspicious op-ed. Thanks so much for making it all the way through today's supplemental broadcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, and follow me on social media for the complete YouTube Recommended Chronicles experience. Links below in the description. Make sure to check those out. Today's musical selection is by Aztec Adventure, my house electro sort of a recording project, and the title of the song is Transmutation, link in the description. Thanks so much for joining me, everyone. It's been another great show. Be safe and be excellent to one another. Bye. On today's episode, featured videos are... Hi, welcome to the YouTube Recommended Chronicles Supplemental Broadcast, Episode 6. I am your host, Jess. Please be sure to follow the entire archival project on hashtag YouTube Recommended Chronicles on X, Tumblr, or Facebook for the latest videos, music, memes, and more. All the links for today's videos are in the description below, and for today's music selection too. So let's move on to today's featured videos. First in, we have the Blair White Project, and the video is titled We're Non-Binary and Our Kids Are Too. Blair White starts off our features today with a shocking look at the degradation of the family and erasure of the innocence of childhood. She does an amazing job taking such a difficult topic and approaching it straightforward with grace while keeping things fun and relatable. If you want to tackle the harder topics with some down-to-earth flair, go check out Blair's channel, ASAP. Our next video selection comes from the channel Dose of Greatness with Roy Zozovich and Professor Matthias Desmet explaining the mass formation theory and modern totalitarian systems. Oh yeah, prevalent stuff for today. The Magic 8-Ball delivers to me daily. From the channel Dose of Greatness, a much needed and timely talk on crowdthink, mass formation, classical dictatorships, and the evolution of modern totalitarian systems. This is a very concise overview walking us through what has unfolded around us worldwide in recent years. A must-watch for all concerned citizens. Our next video comes in from the dudes at Trigonometry. Trigonometry, not trigonometry. It's not math class. Trigonometry. Female-only app creator sued Sal Grover. And, this is a meaningful exchange interviewing Sal Grover about being sued for creating a social app exclusively for biological females. It's funny. You can get sued for just about anything, and it's come to this. Trigonometry is one of my favorite podcast-styled channels on YouTube. They put on a great show and all the latest topics spanning alternative media, independent journalism, etc. are what they're all about. So go give them a watch for some great talk show fare. Another fun selection. Our fourth video comes in from John Talks, and he titles so many of his videos this title: It's Time to Leave Earth. John Talks brings the best of the latest headlines and memes a few times a day. That really covers it for John Talks. Be sure to check out the additional channel, John Talks 2, for more fun. Another entry from Dose of Greatness with our fifth video with Roy Yosevich speaking with Douglas Murray and his take on social and climate activism. So in this video, join Roy Yosevich and Douglas Murray for an in-depth discussion on current events plus climate and social activism. This selection brings some more much-needed perspective and analysis on the conflict in Gaza, current activist trends, and a bit of historical background across many topics, including where things went wrong in different areas. This is the second video I've seen from this channel so far in my journey of the YouTube Recommended Chronicles. And what I've seen so far is very good. Make sure to go check out Dose of Greatness's channel. And last up for our selected videos is from The Universe is Talking to You, titled Wait is Finally Over, December, If You Feel ... So this outer worldly transmission is a very comprehensive energy update for the month of December 2023 and is chock full of interesting information concerning the return of Christ consciousness, manifesting, ascension, chakras, light codes, and a deep dive into the serpentine illusion that composes 3D Matrix. Another great piece from The Universe is Talking to You. And that wraps up our video selections. On to today's outro monologue, auspicious op-ed. Why do they continue to insist on lying to us and themselves? Is that really all they have left? Are they really mere shells or possibly illusions of accomplished people? Nothing more than hungry ghosts riddled with demons and spite. Their disdain for us makes nonsense to it's nonsense to a healthy, peaceful individual. Yet these elites think we're a life form beneath both the animal and plant kingdoms with no real knowledge, experience, or understanding of any of us to begin with, really. The ignorance rooted in the elites is highly troubling, but so is their isolated and extremely sheltered existence. When you look at this from the right perspective, you suddenly become able to see the subtle, elegant shackles keeping these pseudo-aristocrats in lockstep to their caste. their privileges very quickly become a very bum deal in comparison for their lack of freedom and demands of their overplayed toil or behazed dynamic, most commonly seen in academia, corporations, and government offices. These stuffed shirts aren't nearly a fraction of how special everyone thinks they are, because the majority had to be coerced, compelled, and conditioned into emulating the belief structure and desire to enter the hierarchical game, time honored by the elites, globalists, and totalitarians of all kinds alike. Oh, wait, I forgot. They're all the same. Fancy that. They envy and are growing radioactive green with jealousy of us. They stick their noses where it doesn't belong, abuse the masses via inflation and legislation, then have the audacity to glean narcissistic injuries solely from having less control over us than they do themselves. They resent us and wish to destroy us because we remind them that they are mere men and have no right to attempt to hold authority over another, let alone act as a god. They hate us because we're right and benevolent while they're wrong and malevolent, like we were taught in all the good cartoons before they were banned for everyone my junior. I'm sorry, millennials, and everyone after the millennials. They were terrible to you guys. And they brainwashed you into doing their bidding for free. They really did. Raising this demographic that I just discussed as high-class pets, demanding a life of servitude via admiration and emulation. This is a sin of idolatry. Coveting thy neighbor's everything, bearing false witness to get what you want, and many more are just all rolled up into what they have conditioned into so many. I'm not surprised at what I'm seeing or how we got here. By the time you're done reviewing all the evidence of these crimes against humanity and all inhabitants of our planet, you won't be surprised either. You really won't. And that's today's auspicious op-ed. Our musical selection today comes in from Hunter Hacks and the Western Pleasures. That's my more retro hip-hop, 80s, like retro dance kind of music. And it's titled Slack. Pick it up. Go check it out. I got the link below in the descriptions. And that sums us up for today. Once again, all links to follow the Chronicles over on social media for the full picture is down here. And thank you for joining me for the Supplemental Broadcast. Can't wait to catch you next time. Have a great day. Be safe, everyone. Bye. On today's episode, featured videos from... Hi there, everyone. Welcome to episode 7 of the Supplemental Broadcast. I'm your host, Jess. Please be sure to follow the Archival Project, hashtag the YouTube Recommended Chronicles on X and Tumblr. For everyone who wanted to follow me on Facebook for telling the truth for an entire year, they just gave me the can. So I am no longer on Facebook, but I am on X and Tumblr. Links are in the description. To keep up to date with the latest videos, music, memes, and more from the Chronicles. On to today's featured selections. First up, from New Discourses, we have medical Lysenkoism in the American Medical Association. In this video, New Discourses returns to our features with an issue that should concern everyone. Medical Lysenkoism is the redistribution of harm within the medical system, and evidence of this woke equity practice has embedded itself into the American Medical Association's new equity policies. Beware the age of critical medicine and the dangers that shall ensue, just kind of like they did in, the Soviet Union, China, and everywhere else that used these ideas. Another thoughtful piece from New Discourses is always exposing the communist activist infiltration of yet another institution that everyone should know about. Next up, we have Club Random Podcast, featuring Roseanne Barr this episode. So this was my first exposure to Club Random from my good friend Magic 8 Ball. And it is a wild and revealing discussion had between Bill Maher and Roseanne Barr. Several other podcasters since this iconic episode have commented on many of the revealing remarks shared between the two old pals. From Bill being clueless about the left to MK Ultra to seeing him a couple years behind the truths revealed by alternative and independent media thus far, it becomes very clear that something with him and his data feed is amiss. And she really gives him the business on it until she can't anymore. And, well, she just can't anymore. She just wants to go to bed. Make sure to watch this one to understand better the gap between the normies and the woo or the awakened people. Third today, we have the video from the channel The Cosmic Awakening, Cryon 2023, The Spark of God. Today's spacey cosmic transmission entry comes from Cryon of Magnetic Service. Listen to Lee Carroll channel Cryon to embark wisdom regarding intuition, the pineal gland, and communicating with God for a fascinating lecture on the veil, what is beyond it, and how to connect to these things via our intuition. Check out Cryon's channel for more transmissions. Moving on to the channel Advancing in their video, The Grass Wasn't Greener. They regret walking away from you. Yeah, my mouth isn't working today. Oh, well, it's YouTube. It's fun. You see little snippets of excitement for you. So Advancing is a channel with some very uplifting monologues, and there is something for everyone to resonate with in these reflections of support. If you're looking for some affirming and edifying content to enrich your self-growth, make certain to give this channel a subscribe. The grass is not greener on the other side. That green is an illusion that quickly vanishes upon closer inspection. Make sure to hear this inspirational talk when you get a chance. We got a humdinger up next. This is coming in from Justice, and the video is titled, "This will happen to you when you break demonic ... All right, so Justice is a musician, a soul with purpose and a prophetic voice serving the Lord. He discusses his take on witchcraft, demonic contracts, narcissism, and breaking away. Justice speaks from a Christian perspective, and while I disagree with him on a few topics regarding interpretation of the Bible, much of what he says resonates with me and is thought-provoking in many ways. It will be most interesting to watch him continue to grow on his journey of spirituality and service on the path of righteousness. Yes, he has much learning, discernment, and maturity to gain, but so did I at his age. Check him out regardless. Just don't, let anything that doesn't resonate, just let it go. You're going to find with spiritual things, no two people are going to think alike. So as always, I know it's touchy, just let those things go. The truth will always be internally validated after it is externally analyzed, so don't worry. If it sets right, it sets right. If it doesn't, you'll know. Last up, a short little ditty here because there isn't a whole lot to say on this one, is Meme the Left with the memes of the day. And it's just the best in memes daily, mixed with some music and special effects for even more fun. Join Meme the Left for the latest in political and social commentary every day. They rock. They're really good at what they do. Super simple, clean, entertaining. I like it. So we're to the best part. It's time for my auspicious op-ed. When I was young, we didn't really use the word elite much. It was the 80s, and people were not nearly as competitive or eager to be good conformist slaves like so many espouse across all communication mediums these days. Back in the day, we used its much more honest predecessor, snob, which suddenly left the mainstream vernacular by the mid-90s. A word that was viewed once as such a stain, almost exclusive of the affluent and upper middle class or professional class, was suddenly replaced with the word elite, simultaneously with a push for kids and teenagers to have no freedom and forcing everyone on a college track at the expense of freedom and our health both mental and physical. These money-hungry, slave-driving cancers use intimidation, nepotism, and censorship to rebrand their desires for how the public carries on to subtly invoke socio-behavioral slavery, self-imposed through fear, repression, and desire to live a life denying oneself their own personal sovereignty in hopes of not being rejected by the community or society at large. These are the people who replaced recess, art, and music with more mandatory reading and silence and test preps for young K through 8 students, removed third places, and patrolled any place that older kids and teens were once permitted to socialize, raising the legal age for almost everything with an age milestone, while creating and enforcing a world order where no high school graduate would ever be able to live comfortably on their own. Again, working a normal entry-level job that used to provide a young adult's independence, all in the name of the perpetuation of their elitist values and forcing them on the lower, middle, and working classes of people. Yes, this is part of depopulation. This is cultural genocide. Look at where we are now after following their directions to live a life that they will tolerate us living. For the time being, since they changed their minds about what they're comfortable with us having far too often, now we have a world where only the elite and those who are willing to do anything to become one are welcome and desired. Only workaholic slaves are wanted because the haves only want to exploit the have-nots until they can finally fully absorb what little the rest of us have managed to retain. Inflation has run rampant, and civil unrest comes next. They know they have behaved as children, and their really horrid, record-breaking run of tyranny is coming to an end. The sooner we wake the others up and back it up with the receipts, what I do here on this show, the faster we can get our world back and start living a natural, holistic, healthy life far better than our ancestors had. We owe it to them to fix this. Don't ever forget that living well is the best revenge. Not this tired depopulation noise Bill Gates' grandfather even harped on about. The apple don't fall far from the tree, does it? Rotten as all hell, too. Well, that was my auspicious op-ed. And today's musical selection is by me, Epitome the Burn Kid, the Anti-WEF Anthem. Go check it out on SoundCloud. Link is in the description. I want to thank you all for joining me once again. And thank you for continuing with me on this journey of media enlightenment. Please share, subscribe, follow, like, help me in the algorithm. And let's keep the discussion going, and please go out there and make your own mark. Have a great night, everyone. Burn Kid out. On today's episode, featured videos from... Hi there, everyone. Welcome to episode 8 of the Supplemental Broadcast of the YouTube Recommended Chronicles. I'm your host, Jess. Please be sure to follow the entire archival project at hashtag YouTube Recommended Chronicles on X and Tumblr for the latest in videos, music, memes, and more. On to today's featured selections. We're going to start today off with The Crystal Mind Presents. The video is titled, Everything is About to Change. I'm not kidding. This is an explanation of what to start at the new lunar cycle with the new moon in Sagittarius, along with an energy update. This is past knowledge, but for people who kind of want to get some idea of what all of this means, this is a really good insight. The Crystal Mind Presents gives galactic insight to make more sense of the energies around us, and so much more. Before ancient astronomy, extraterrestrial, and solar system insight narrated over soothing space animations, the Crystal Mind Presents is a great place to get started orienting to the Ascension topics that we discuss on this show. Next up, we have a video from Russell Brand. Texas officials sue Pfizer over COVID-19 vaccine lies, podcast number 259. Funny how in 2023, Russell Brand has become one of the most reliable sources of real news that we need to know about when the mainstream news has insisted on being propagandists, cheerleading for the deep state-sponsored initiatives. In this episode, he covers a lawsuit Texas officials have brought against Pfizer regarding all the lies they peddling their GMO juice off as a supposed vaccine. Due to breaking a state law, Texas holds drug manufacturers to standards above that of our federal government, and I wish them well in their pursuit of justice. For more of this, stories like this, go over and check out Russell Brand's channel for more. And for his uncensored takes, be sure to check him out on Rumble. Third up, we have another entry from the most awesome Richard Vobes, and this video is titled, "And How We Are Being Played." So after a year of him sharing his opinion monologues on his awakening journey, Richard Vobes takes us through his ideas regarding how our systems have strayed far from their supposed benevolent purposes into the oppressive monstrosities that dictate far too much of our lives by a combination of force and habit. He discusses his views through the lenses of legal fiction and that of a lawful order, breaking down the systems we're bound to and much, much more. Go hear him out and give it a good think. It's things all of us should really ponder, considering we still have to live parallel to the 3D matrix until its complete dissolution for those of us who are awakened. And for those of you awakening, welcome to the show. I'm here to help you wake up little by little, day after day, the more info I get. I've only been awake on this stuff, I want to say about a year and a half, going on 2 years, but not actively archiving the chronicles until about a year ago. All right. Fourth, we have an entry from the channel Everything Inside Me. It goes much deeper than most can imagine. Everything Inside Me takes us inside some deep takes on the deep state, the Illuminati, and the satanic totalitarian overhaul of the world. He takes on leaders, freedom, slavery, indoctrination, and serfdom in his latest analysis of current events and connecting the dots for his listeners to understand the strategies that lie beneath puppet theater's tyranny we've all been subjected to, not only recently, but for thousands of years. His entries are always enlightening and concise. For more grade A esoteric scuttlebutt, check out Everything Inside Me for more. Fifth up on our list, we have the channel Buck Angel, and this video is titled Trans TikTok User Detransitions. Making sure to distinguish the differences between acknowledging body modifications as opposed to the gender-affirming perspective. Buck Angel interviews Parker in this in-depth talk with a TikToker who has detransitioned. These are the stories that people need to hear because these are the stories being suppressed by the left and the mainstream establishment to aid in their authoritarian push to ideological domination and mental side. Trans issues are complex, and to learn more about the deception the medical, academic, and government bodies are pushing onto our society, it is vital to hear the other side of the story so that no more victims are lured into this cult-like indoctrination running rampant worldwide currently. And last up on our show for featured videos today is Dr. Drew with his video titled mRNA is a Natural-Born Killer, says drug inventor Dr. Richard Urso with Dr. Kelly Victory. And in this video, Dr. Drew interviews Drs. Richard Urso and Kelly Victory to discuss the dangers of mRNA technology with a drug inventor who calls the mRNA vaccine a natural-born killer. This is a deep dive into the FDA regulatory process, mRNA technology, and the dangers being forced onto society by some seriously entitled malevolent zealots. I call them scientists. They've turned science into a religion, and the science isn't even that good. To learn more about the latest scientific updates concerning the vaccine and increase in excess deaths, this podcast is most illuminating. Definitely check it out. I've got all the links in the description for everyone. And now it's time for today's auspicious op-ed. So I'd like to take a moment to address a topic I find to be underevaluated, which is having security and certainty in the face of the unknown, insecure, and outright inhospitable. I do not mean a feeling of safety. When I speak of this context of security, and certainly I am referring to the relationship that we have with ourselves when I'm discussing this. It has been troubling to watch how the outside world has impacted so many people in a way that makes them extremely vulnerable, feeble, fearful, envious, covetous, while somehow becoming increasingly narcissistic, aggressive, and dysfunctional. It would appear that the older you are, there are less of these types of people per demographic group because this behavior seems to be linked to technology and subliminal conditioning increasingly forced on younger groups by the state and other entities. The reason we need to be able to provide a solid sense of security and certainty both within ourselves and about ourselves is the baseline requirement to being able to provide such support to others in order to teach and foster skills throughout the population to rebuild society. I'm not speaking in terms of some future occurrence. I'm of the opinion that society is currently so fractured at this time. To begin rebuilding starts now, and with any and all damage surveyed, we've got to just start with the present, and we have to work from there. You will find that in this series of episodes, once you go to the description box to watch the featured videos I post here, you have made the first step in preparing yourself for all these new beginnings that are being revealed to all of us on all levels. That old cliche, today is the first day of the rest of your life, can be daunting enough to drive so many individuals into a fight, flight, or freeze mode, especially during these interesting times. I've been going through the stages of interpersonal growth at a much more rapid rate since Ascension really ramped up symptomatically, both physically, emotionally, spiritually in the last year. Perhaps you all at home can relate to overcoming serious hurdles once you come across the right information needed to truly grasp a scenario or situation for a better vantage point. Anyways, I'm trying to pay it forward. Passing the best and most meaningful data that I come across to the rest of you, so hoping you can utilize it to improve your experience. We all seem to be adverting through together. Upon gaining the knowledge that leads to proficiency and proficiency that leads to sincere confidence, a whole new dimension of experiences and perspectives open up. That is where you will find your new life on the new earth. The ever so discussed fifth dimension and beyond becomes very real, starting with what we're doing right now. Let's keep learning and growing together, everyone. And that wraps up today's show. Today's musical selection is Akashic Breaks, Transmissions Existential. SoundCloud link is down in the description, and all the links to follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, and to directly go watch today's featured videos are down there as well. Thanks for joining me again for another wonderful show. I look forward to seeing you back next time on the Supplemental Broadcast. Could be Vern Kid signing out. Have a great day.
On today's episode, featured videos from.
Hey there, everyone. Welcome to episode 9 of the Supplemental Broadcast. I'm your host, Jess, aka Epitome the Burn Kid. Please be sure to follow the entire archival project, hashtag YouTube Recommended Chronicles on both X and Tumblr, because they threw me off of Facebook because I told the truth about everything, to the best of my ability, for the latest videos, music, memes, and more. On to today's featured selections. So first in, we have a video from Above and Beyond Duality titled The 3D Earth is Available Now with Archangel Michael 2023. So Archangel Michael imparts tools and knowledge for the fifth dimension in this video from Above and Beyond Duality, soothing music, spiritual growth, inspirational visuals, and a very peaceful vibe are all staples in these short video transmissions. For more Ascension devotionals, head over to their channel and give them a look-see. Next up on our list, we have another lovely entry by the amazing Richard Vobes with his video titled, This Is What I Have Discovered. Mr. Vobes gives us a very comprehensive rundown of all the things he has learned over his year of documenting his awakening. I can relate to so many of the things he reminisces about on his list of discoveries from his experiences and research he has come across. Another insightful, mindful bit of discourse to counter the mainline deception that is breaking down civilization as we observe the matrix crumbling from our parallel piece. Good job, Mr. Vobes. Third up, we have Andy the Gabby Cabby. This proves what a scam it is. Andy keeps us up to date on many of the globalist challenges facing the UK and many of the rest of us. He breaks down what a scam the ULEZ scheme is, which stands for Ultra Low Emission Zone, if you weren't aware. The scheme is in London for this video entry. Andy lets us know the latest with tips from his viewers, live streams, and daily posts. Be sure to give his channel a visit if you're of like mind. Absolutely. Great follow. He's a cool guy. Fifth on our list, we have Chloe Cole, Detransition, School Indoctrination, Bullying is the title of this video. So this is the story of a social transition that started at 12 for Chloe, rooted in school indoctrination and bullying. This interview is very revealing. Interviews like this are what young people, parents, and teachers all need to see to balance the perspectives mandated in many DEI policies with the real-world repercussions of children being disfigured and traumatized for life. After the growing pains my generation and those before me work through our coming-of-age trials without all the indoctrination and coercion that has become a social contagion fueled online rampantly and, coming of age, like, puberty, like we used to do back in the 20th century. Children are being intervened on now in ways that are just unimaginable. So if you want to know more about how these stories unfold, listen to this firsthand account on how these thoughts formed about even desiring to transition to begin with, and then the results that later ensued, and what had to be endured, as a result of detransition after transition and a developing body. Such a very, very, very important topic. Oh yeah, that was fourth up. You see, I make mistakes too. And, I'm a one taker, so let's keep it going. So now fifth up comes in from Valuetainment. What's the WEF? Bill Maher claims to be unaware of Klaus Schwab. You'll remember this from a episode, a couple episodes back. So yeah, the guys at Valuetainment discussed that episode of Club Random with Bill Maher and Roseanne Barr that I shared with you guys a few episodes ago. And just like many of us, they too remark on Bill Maher claiming to be unaware of the WEF and many other well-known truths, i.e. conspiracies, i.e. conspiratorial facts. I feel like there is much more of this story to unfold in the coming weeks and months. And if you go look at my memes in the archives, especially on X, look at the pictures, look closely. there's stuff that we don't know. So keep your eyes on Bill, and let's do our best and try to help wake him up. I think he's involved with some pretty bad dudes, if you ask me. And finally, our last video is a bit of a humdinger. This comes in from Whatever Clips, and the video is titled "She Thinks Women Are Oppressed, but Struggle to Explain How." So Whatever Clips is newer in the recommendations from Magic 8 Ball, my friendly algorithm. And while I would have called these videos exploitative clickbait a few decades ago, I've seen enough evidence from many different sources that this behavior and lack of knowledge or critical thinking skills, whatever you want to call it, are more of a norm in young adults than they are an anomaly. To get a handle on where these women in their early 20s glean their beliefs from, this is pretty revealing footage. We're watching everything come straight from the horse's mouth on this occasion. I personally don't know how any of these guests graduated middle school, but I blame No Child Left Behind for the destruction of our already pathetic indoctrination centers, commonly known as K through 12. When everyone gets a diploma, the diploma becomes worthless. When more people get degrees, they become worth substantially less. If it is hard to understand how you educate a society into slavery after all we have witnessed, just remember that enforcing education always had a goal to erase the intrinsic value of every individual who is not verified and vetted by the educator and or institution, by default placing us into slavery. So, that's it for our videos today. It's now time for my auspicious op-ed. Who we think we are, who we think we should be, and whom others demand we are to be, are dynamics that are crucial for all to assess and form the required boundaries and maintain a healthy state and sense of self in the face of all phenomena we encounter. Boundaries have been lacking very noticeably since the start of the 21st century. Most notably after the erosion of so many of our civil liberties after many infamous events that had escalated since the late 20th century, who we are, what we need, and our basic general nature was suddenly up for debate if anyone could argue that our oppression and dehumanization is in the name of safety or security. Where were our boundaries? As individuals, families, communities, and cultures, where on earth did our boundaries go? Well, if we want to be really honest, our boundaries were never respected by the powers that be, or they wouldn't have nudged, nagged, pushed, penalized, stigmatized, banished, and destroyed so many fundamental needs for the ordinary person to lead a healthy and fruitful life. Even so, was it really so much cushier in past decades that we accepted a far lower quality of life for money that doesn't go as far, especially when you account for the loss of freedom in how you choose to use your money or your time? They actually thought that if they could compel or encourage fierce competition for the right to afford to live, that they were not enslaving us, and that we not only consented to our condition, but we somehow volunteered. And it is our alleged will to identify as our respective vocations or occupations. Like being born is signing a contract to some form or variation of lifelong indentured servitude with like caste restrictions. Last time I checked, this leaves us in the same place Moses was way back in the day, but worse. We have reached a point where all constitutions, laws, decrees, mandates, and any other regulatory function should be deemed totalitarian inherently. De facto fascism in full effect. It is time for us to become the societies we want to see, rebuild and restore our rich cultures, heal ourselves and our habitats, and live a responsible, free, and peaceful life. It is time for priorities to be put in order, our spiritual needs to be respected, and for us to revere each other like the divine beings I know we are. Because we all have that God spark, or we wouldn't even be here. And you most certainly wouldn't be on my channel, I don't think. We are clearly the majority. We clearly have the greater good in mind. We are the citizenry. The powers that be don't even have a society that functions, let alone one that you could even be a member of without us. We run the thing, literally. Without us, they literally have nothing. Yet they see all life as chattel and natural resources, seemingly exclusive to their gain and not ours. Let's keep putting the elites on notice. We all have platforms, and it's an information war they want. I say we see their supposed information, then raise them some opinions, and then drop some prophecy in their faces. We are miracles. Without us, their magical dream world goes poof, and they will just turn on each other, continuing the psychopathic carnage. They say miracles are myths, but we are the miracles that made their dreams come true. Take your power back. The new world needs your gifts, everybody. That's today's show. Musical selection a day, Quantum Spin, Epitome the Burn Kid, SoundCloud link in the description. Links also in the description for Twitter, Tumblr to see the full archival fun. Follow me on either. And also to pop on over and hear the official soundtrack of the Chronicles, go on over to my SoundCloud. Thanks so much for joining me. Epitome signing off. Be good, everyone, and stay safe.
On today's episode, featured videos from...
Hi there, everyone. Welcome to episode 10 of the Supplemental Broadcast. I'm your host, Jess, aka Epitome the Burn Kid. Please be sure to follow the entire archival project for every video that Magic 8 Ball serves up to me at hashtag YouTube Recommended Chronicles on X and Tumblr for the latest videos, music, memes, and more. On to today's selections. First up on today's broadcast, we have a video from the channel Demand TV featuring one of Julie Green Ministries' prophetic words titled Shocking Shakeup. Julie receives prophetic words from God, and it is amazing how watching her prophecy is like getting the news before the news. I have been watching her for about a year now since my auspicious algorithm introduced me to her, sharing her gift with all of us online. And she is spot on with what the Lord is telling her is going to occur. Be sure to check her out. A few different YouTubers publish her broadcasts via their channels. So a multiple array of people use Julie Green for confirmation, and it's like she very much is like Daniel Scranton, except she's not channeling the Octorians. It's pretty amazing. Definitely go check that out. Second up today, and third actually too, is the channel Hawaii Real Estate, continuing their amazing work covering the Maui fires that struck Lahaina earlier this year. This story has not gotten the attention that it deserves, as something is clearly amiss surrounding the whole series of events. The first video I have is titled Maui Today. All content is monitored and censored live 24/7. You know, we've been covering the censorship industrial complex, and it's been hitting these guys pretty hard. So if you could like and share their videos and try to keep this in the spotlight, they really do need all the help you can get out there. Their other video that we have here is titled Perfect Crime or Perfect Storm, Burn Back Better. the fact that all content is being monitored and censored live 24/7, as displayed in the first title, it should be a clear red flag to anyone with the 411 on the current happenings worldwide that, this looks suspect. Perfect Crime or Perfect Storm is the title of their other video featured in today's lineup, and with the sketchy behavior of the local billionaires, the corrupt government, the people of Maui more than ever need our help keeping them visible, since the mainstream media is really trying to drown out this incident. We now have a fun entry here in slot number 4 with GB News Channel and the Dinosaur Hour. Join John Cleese on the most amazing set I have ever seen for a social commentary talk show. And it has some pretty awesome guests for some surprising talk about many of the things I bring up here on the Supplemental Broadcast. Card-playing nuns, pipe-drinking mobsters, and cute kittens, too. The show is pretty epic. Redacted is back in our lineup with the 5th selection this program. They go over the most recent lie being tossed around the mainstream of multiple Western countries, claiming that the WHO treaty, the WHO, does not compromise national sovereignty, when anyone who has read the official documents knows full well that it obliterates all signer sovereignty, permitting a NGO takeover of a nation's laws in the circumstance of another pandemic. Redacted brings the receipts to debunk the globalist deceptive practices, as they always do a great job over there on their channel. And last up on today's features, we have an entry by Do Dissidents on the topic of class privilege and anti-disinformation efforts that have been enacted on all of us in recent years. It's very clear that only the elite have a hand in this effort to suppress, subjugate, and stigmatize the masses of ordinary citizens who do not share any of their values or ideals. Citizens like myself resent and dissociate from such dystopian, draconian behavior practically from birth, but thankfully, more of the masses are awakening to the truth about who holds the power over what and why. None of that should have ever occurred to begin with. The beginning is nigh, my friends. Be sure to listen to this discussion for more details. Links for all our features are in the description box for everyone to check out. And now, as always, it's time for my auspicious monologue. Auspicious op-ed. Rock on. Okay, let's go. So, civil discourse, dissidents, and the value of compulsory punitive measures are concepts evolving and mutating before our very eyes at a rate I could have never imagined, without experiencing the acceleration of events personally. The absolute confidence of the effectiveness of compliance to avert punitive measures, commonly misconstrued as some form of ethical virtue or social construct, is what drives the vast majority of legislation across the Western world. Without any form of input or recourse, the ordinary citizenry, who supposedly have rights protecting their freedoms, are nothing more than the victims of neo-slavery and mental side. We don't live in democracies for a very good reason. Read Plato's Republic for more on how it is a form of populist fascism via mob rule. We live in a constitutional republic to protect us from the dangers of autocracy, democracy, communism, theocracy, technocracy, oligarchy, allegedly, and most importantly, totalitarian authoritarianism of any flavor or persuasion. Doublespeak is everywhere, so stay keen to the manipulations and deception employed through the abuses of language and literacy found to be historically common in the methodology of all communist, socialist, and fascist authoritarians worldwide. Alleged wrongthink is running just as rampant in turn, fueled by the censorship initiatives of the elites through the lockstep conformity the professional managerial class prides themselves upon, and eagerly arms themselves with a highly charismatic and equally false sense of virtue they choose to wield as shield, weapon, and one-up alike. Wrong speech is only possible when freedom of speech is lacking. While understanding and sincerity are only possible when freedom of speech is an inherent given that is quite literally required for logic to exist as valid, post-truth is the blatant dishonesty that led us here. Hurt feelings was the excuse, while anti-bullying was the catalyst to these artificial conditions and blatant dishonesty that set the tone for a collective of codependent, emotionally dependent, lesser narcissists. It's like predative parasitism. Is this the result of postmodernism or that of similar stigmatized philosophies? I would caution that pointing the finger in such a direction is unwise, as correlation is not equivocal to causation or association. I think it's much more important to look at whose voices rose to prominence as an influence, what their motives were, and that they all had the motives of a spoiled, rotten brat. The people who have been at the helm of all major civilizations have made it to where they are, by pleasing the desires and espousing the values of those they demand external validation from. The volatile and equally vile notions pursued are so foul that they cannot be enacted or upheld without a system of bureaucracy to circumvent the inevitable bloodshed that would ensue without such a buffer. When it is referred to as the beast system and you're warned about Babylon, let's think about what Antichrist actually means. Would Christ stand for a bunch of leaders who make the money changers at that temple back in like the Bible look like HR puffin stuff? No, I don't think so. Let's think about what Satan really means, which translates to great adversary or deceiver. When has a government not acted in a satanic, idolatrous, murderous way? Either literally or in hyperbole, every act of legislation I have learned about or experienced appears to be an act of tyranny, carefully disguised against the people. Anarchy is a societal construct that simply lacks a hierarchical structure. The common misuse of the word as some form of violent cataclysm is a prime example of the indoctrination and doublespeak that has perpetuated the devolution of language, culture, and civility. Anarchy is peaceful, so it should be fairly obvious that every authoritarian wants you to believe that it is a dangerous and violent condition. They then encourage the furthering of the lies and indoctrination that lead to broken communities, families, individuals, cultures, and promises. It is their power strategy and structure through and through that they are unable to think from other perspectives, it would seem, because other perspectives wouldn't hold such a power advantage. Without a hierarchy in place, the experts and authorities have no power to oppress at will. Without indoctrination, oppression, abuse, and coercion present, there is no groundwork to hold a hierarchical system in place or drive its dysfunctional operation and motivations. Fear anarchy. That's a trap if I ever heard of one, because anarchy is a peaceful existence where you have a society in which everyone is an equal to everyone else with no artificial power structure forced upon them, forced upon the citizenry as a whole in any way. Totalitarians rely on reducing and retarding everyone so that they might prevail. And I am here to blow the lid on all their plans I come across. Welcome to The Great Resist. That's our show for today. Brings us to our musical selection. Me, another Identity Transmissions Existential, so based. I got a link for you down in the description. Links to my Twitter, Tumblr, and SoundCloud are also in the description. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next show. Stay prepped, stay safe, be awesome, and get the word out. Have a great time. I want to see everyone in the house get dirty.
On today's episode, featured videos from...
Hi there, everyone. Welcome to episode 11 of the Supplemental Broadcast on Alexandria and OK Copernicus production. I'm your host, Jess. Please be sure to follow the entire archival project, hashtag YouTube Recommended Chronicles on X or Tumblr for the latest videos, music, memes, and more. Links to follow me, watch today's video recommendations, and our featured music can be found in the description box below. On to today's featured selections. First up, with another monologue that really resonated with me, is Richard Vobes and his video regarding how all the people are waking up to the deception by the evil cabal, who has held stake in many things they had no right or place to take precedence over natural law, otherwise known in common law. He breaks down his analysis ever so well in an easy-to-understand fashion for his viewers. I think he is right. I am watching people wake up too. Do you think he's right? Go check out this video and let me know what your experience had been like during the Great Awakening. Next up, we have Trevor Colt, MC's channel, coming in with his wonderful daily rants. I start my morning with Trevor's rants regularly and think you might enjoy them too. He brings us his hot takes and commentary from the UK. If I am not mistaken, he has expanded his voice well past YouTube and is now published. Check out another cool dude who keeps it real with us on the daily. Third up, the former Deputy Prime Minister from Australia sits down with Jordan Peterson to get his insights on the rise of cultural Marxism we have all been watching unfold quite rapidly over the past several years at an accelerating rate. John Anderson's YouTube channel has some very good interviews with many prominent thinkers in the truth movement, and this video delivers. For more straight talk on the pressing issues of now, please be sure to check out his channel for more. Dad Saves America brings us our fourth entry in today's recommendations with a piece on the supposedly prestigious university presidents disgracing themselves at the congressional hearing regarding anti-Semitism on college campuses. If you haven't yet seen the footage of these hearings, I know the raw, unedited version is available on Forbes Breaking News YouTube channel. In the link I have provided for our feature today, it has some very good social commentary along with bits of the original footage for context. With what should be expected of university leadership, it is amazing what we receive instead. Fifth on our list, we've got Tony. He's got a few channels on YouTube, but this video specifically comes from his channel God Rules 2, Sons of Thunder, and is about all the underground Hollywood rumors that have been making their way to the surface as of late. Let him take us on one of his timely adventures down the information superhighway to confirm that these rumors are a bit more than meaningless gossip, and we all should be paying attention. Be sure to watch the whole video as he ties some other current events to this whole Hollywood debacle we've been hearing glints and glimmers of, especially since Sound of Freedom. Last but not least, we have Jeff Taylor with his thoughts on how the EU is split on Brexit spite. If you're an American like myself, you may not be aware of Brexit, in which the UK formally left the EU, and now there are some fallout and controversy surrounding what should happen next amongst their citizens. Join Jeff and his super fantabulous sidekick Richard when he is available sometimes for sharp and witty opinions on many worldwide matters. They really put on a good show, Jeff and Richard. That brings us to today's auspicious op-ed. So here's some words for everyone. It would appear that all systems we've been forced to interact with were developed with an inherent disdain for everything I relate to being an ordinary, everyday human being, having varying preferences to conditioning us into humanoid automations, which appears to have led to the destruction of the human condition across many spectrums. I think it's time for us to have a little talk about absurdly envious wealth mongers. Have you really paid attention and studied these supposedly savvy, cunning types? More importantly, have you ever asked yourself why they're insatiable in regards to consumption and not an ounce happier for it, especially considering how much they consume? While these types of people think they know it all, it turns out that they literally fully rely on external validation and resources to feel any sense of meaning in life. They literally do not know how to internally regulate, evaluate, or analyze anything because they have been conditioned to only acknowledge permissible phenomenon starting at a very early age. This conditioning is a socio-emotional retardant intended to condition primary dependence and codependence in an effort of breaking the individual from self-determination and intuition. Now let us think of the types of people who would wish to place humanity into such a closed system, and the answer is quite simple: narcissists. Narcissists are naturally drawn to this behavior. Narcissists breed narcissists along with their other broken counterparts that make up the mass of accepted society. While I find the values and beliefs of the professional managerial class abhorrent, dehumanizing, anti-human, radicalizing, and delusional, the masks they have painted on, the bribes, and the promises of prosperity appear to have lured in many more souls than if they could have possibly provided for. These warriors of quite a disgusting status quo are the authorities, role models, and meddlers that are very hard to escape without living a very isolated, rustic life that few places still permit such a literally peaceful existence. This class of people and the arm of the globalist machine most of us come into contact with regularly, as they are our teachers, professors, doctors, policemen, politicians, lawyers, social workers, managers, administrators, and human resources employees that keep us under their neo-feudal rule in hopes of more bonuses and benefits from their overlords. These people have a college degree, make salary, and think they are somehow better and more deserving than the rest of us because they believe they somehow earned superiority when all men are created equal. These so-called productive members of society have not only hoarded a ton of wealth that they did not earn because they do not work for a living. During the little bit of activity they must carry out, they mostly boss people around at meetings they deem subordinate and send emails all day with an air of self-importance that could make you puke. The professional and managerial class of workers also helps enable and encourage all of the millionaires and billionaires hoarding their wealth to continue the status quo in hopes they might be even lazier than they are now someday, hoping to live off interest and dividends once they've made it and accumulated enough capital to enter the investor or rentier class. Let me tell you what. That is why we have vacant property everywhere that no one can rent or sell. That is why we have over-credentialized demands for jobs and services. It is also why our quality of living and goods is dropping. A bunch of overprivileged people decided they would invest in education and other endeavors with the intent of pushing the real work onto everyone else with no real or fair compensation to speak of, while they pocket everything they can get away with seizing and taking no responsibility for the conditions they created with such an irrational perspective. Because they're the only benefactor in their schemes, and they are holding all the wealth like brandishing a weapon of mass deprivation, we need to fix this whole matter from the ground up regardless of their decrees. I think it is time we all think about how the wealthiest amongst us, yes, I'm talking about the middle class all the way up to the trillionaires who live on secret private islands, get paid large sums of money to uphold a system that is very bad for the vast majority, if not all of us, with absolutely no shame regarding the upholding and perpetuation of the systemic enslavement of mankind by the globalist technocracy and all dark forces. Oh, that was our show today. Thank you so much for joining me. Our musical selection is Warp Zone. Stay prepped. Stay safe. Oh yeah, Warp Zone, me, Aztec Adventure this time. Another moniker, another sound. Stay prepped, stay safe, and definitely come back for more episodes. We absolutely love having you on the Supplemental Broadcast. Have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.
On today's episode, featured videos from...
Hi there, everyone. Welcome to episode 12 of the Supplemental Broadcast here on Alexandria, an OK Copernicus production. I'm your host, Jess. Please be sure to follow the entire archival project. Hashtag YouTube Recommended Chronicles on X or Tumblr for the latest videos, music, memes, and more. Descriptions for all of today's videos and featured music, and where to come follow me for all the videos I don't get to go over with you guys, and there's a ton every day and lots of really good stuff. Go on down to the description box and your links will be right there. So let's get on into today's featured video recommendation, shall we? We're going to start our show off today with the channel Jeff Buys Cars with a candid examination on the current conditions here in America. It would appear, pardon me, let me get situated. It would appear that the entire world is more aware of our condition at present than many of our unawakened countrymen have been as of late. After getting to talking with some other UK citizens about a lackluster vacation to San Francisco, Jeff started inquiring about how things are doing over here in our sector of the Western world. Check out this video and more for some spot-on analysis related to matters often discussed over here on the Supplemental Broadcast. Next up is one of my regular reliables for primary source news footage on YouTube, the Forbes Breaking News channel. In our selection today, we take another look at the congressional hearing with the university professors that I mentioned last episode, actually. This clip shows footage of the president of Harvard University. If it is okay to segregate people based to asking if it's okay to segregate people based on their skin color. To see how this went, head on over to watch the link. Click down in the video's description for more. Third up, the guys at Trigonometry make it back on the program today with their interview with Buck Angel in the video about stopping the medicalization of children, as it has been being pushed under the deceptive doublespeak embedded in the term gender affirming care. Contrary to what the ideologues would have you believe, my show highlights all the brave trans men and women who stand up for the safety of children and the validity of the biological sexes. You know, the end of the lies and indoctrination being pushed on so many individuals by the state and other vested interests. Take a deep dive into the voices the totalitarian oppressors don't want you to hear, because it debunks all of the woke tards' rhetoric. Now, let's move on to our good buddies at Redacted, who harbors doctors that commit rape while doing alleged humanitarian work. The WHO does. Of course, the World Health Organization's down with that. Check out this clip from Redacted for the details and receipts on this phenomenon recently revealed. A must-hear story about a must-put on about a must-hear story about a man put on trial for war crimes, kind of organization. Yeah, like, this is really bad. Like, they do really horrible things in literally third world countries. I'm just going to tell you right now, the World Health Organization is part of depopulation. They do not care about your health. Go check out Redacted for stories of this flavor and variety. It sinks into that UN Agenda 2030 and all this ULEZ crap and all this ESG. Yeah. I'm onto them, and I'm going to get y'all onto them, too. Up next, we have Mayor 2CTV. He is a fantastic independent journalist who has a channel on YouTube covering the evidence linking George Soros to aiding Islamists to attempt the destruction on Israel. For more news like this as it breaks, be sure to follow 2CTV for a reliable and vigilant alternative media outlet. To round out our list of today's features, we have a video here from Brylan Riggs, who does an in-depth look from a Christian perspective on Lil Nas X, the content of some of his admissions and statements about God, that, you know, like from social media interviews, what have you. The music industry and its overt satanic overtones are something that all people need to be very concerned about, not only the Christian community. Brylan does a really great job taking us through his sources and explain to us his concerns with some biblical excerpts to back up where he is coming from, as the Bible suggests one does when presenting a concern about others regarding anything. He provides insight that we all need to take into account. Please give his channel a try and learn more about similar issues and stories that have become so very common here of late. Like literally 2023, all these like Satanists popped up everywhere, even making little kids clothes at Target. It's ridiculous people. So now it's time for best part of the show, auspicious op-ed. Let's say some words now, shall we? All right. I don't consider myself a team player in general terms, especially in terms of abstract political notions like patriotism and nationalism, primarily because most people in my demographic don't have any real clout or power that has been recognized or respected. From what I can tell, most of the mild-mannered independent thinkers enjoy a quiet, peaceful life where everyone minds their own business, are not frequently heard on many soapboxes, but I think that is all changing, and that is very encouraging. It is clear that our individual sovereignty hasn't been respected very much since the 19th century, around the time of what appears to be a societal reset that only a brave few have been trying to alert us all to for decades. Now that our national sovereignty is abysmal at best across the Western world, it is time to very much question each and every encroachment to our basic human freedoms that are being eroded at a rate that hasn't been seen since the early 20th century. It is amazing to me watching all the affluent liars deluded with some notion that the world is somehow better or safer than it was 100 years ago, when that is only true for the insatiable at the top, whose moods fluctuate with economic data. Have there been improvements in specific things? Absolutely. But overall, looking at the big picture, when we look at the entire population, this notion of convenience and technology improving our lives is marginal or backwards. In the case of the lesser 50% of society at a bare minimum. Science is bought, just like politicians, and the elite's preferred method of problem solving is ludicrous mathematics and think tanks composed of the least human-like humans anyone could be dared to wrangle together in the name of humanity. I suppose the theme I started with is coming full circle now. There are no team players in any industry when we really look deeply into intent, goals, and values. I don't see myself as a team player normally, but now that I see how those on actual teams who need to work together for the sake of the greater good can't because it works against their self-interests, perhaps I am more of a team player than I gave myself credit for, and maybe you are too. Who would have thought this big education, work, die in nursing home concept was just an excuse to expand and rebrand slavery? I'll be honest, none of this set right with me once I was school age and saw how all of us were treated outside of our homes. It was awful. It clearly was a lifelong psyop that those who could not be brainwashed end up being persecuted, impoverished, incarcerated, involuntarily committed, or worse, because with enough dissidents, the others would obviously wake up. Let us become better team players. Let us look out for each other's best interests, and let's help alert the others. Let's let them all know that we're awake, aware, and ready to assist in whatever ways we can. We are all unique, multifaceted beings once we become aware of the possibilities and put the effort in. Let's show them what beings of light can do when we get together and pool some resources and thoughts. If the dark forces could pull off what they have done with the time, resources, and methods they invested, just imagine what the forces of light can do. I assure you, it's exceptionally and exponentially greater what we could do given the same exact resources and time they have been so privileged to squander. And that brings us to the end of today's show. Today's musical selection, Float and Flow, under my project, Hunter Hacks and the Western Pleasures. Links for music and more down in the description. Thanks for joining me for another episode of the Supplemental Broadcast. Stay prepped, stay safe, and just keep on being awesome, everyone. Share, let people know what's going on, and make sure that you're getting your voice heard out there, because they are trying to silence us. Have a great one, everyone. Bye-bye.
Seus olhos me olharam enquanto você segurava a minha mão. Já sei o que você tinha pra falar, mas eu não consegui mais esperar.
On today's episode, featured videos are...
Hi there, everyone. Welcome to episode 13 of the Supplemental Broadcast here on Alexandria Alternative Media Broadcasting and OK Copernicus Production. I'm your host, Jess. You can also call me Epitome or Burn Kid. Please be sure to follow the entire archival project on YouTube, Recommended Chronicles, on X, or Tumblr for the latest videos. Listen to the official soundtrack on SoundCloud, and come on over and follow me for memes, videos, music, and a lot more. Just as a friendly programming reminder, before I get started, due to the heavy solar activity this time of year, combined with my personal electromagnetic sensitivities, there may be small breaks in production when I cannot have much contact with electronic devices for health reasons on high energy days, especially when they've been spraying heavily to combat the sun's rays, which is super toxic and bad for our evolutionary health. Now on to today's selections. In our first selection, our host, Americano, takes us through a list of 20 artifacts that defy the accepted narratives. This video has a very ancient aliens vibe and goes over topics from prehistoric to more contemporary areas of interest. We have all been educated to maintain certain methodologies and paradigms when we approach history in particular. Let Americano take you along on an adventure to re-examine archaeology. This next submission is a long one. Ever wondered what Freemasons are up to in their secret meetings? Well, Richard Lorenzo Jr. takes us through a complete Freemasonry ritual caught on film. Check out his channel for more on exposing the darkness that many of us knew nothing about until rather recently. Exploring what is satanic, Luciferian, witchcraft, and idolatrous is something important we should all reflect on, considering how much truth has been suppressed by those who profit by rendering outsiders esoterically ignorant. Up third, we have Anton Petrov discussing the 27,000-year-old pyramid near the Mountain of Enlightenment in Indonesia, rendering it the oldest pyramid we know of. This recent discovery has been dated pre-Ice Age and gives us many clues about the cultural advancements of the time. Be sure to check out his channel for all things related to star stuff. a lot of footage to make so many of the matters we address here on the supplemental broadcast make more sense is the best way I can sum up this entry from Journeyman Pictures. For democracy to work in any instance, the truth must both be present and a priority. The cry for democracy you hear these days from the post-truthers has nothing to do with truth. Instead, it has everything to do with their relentless belief in mob ruling, claiming these reprehensible perspectives are actually autocratic in nature. I encourage everyone to walk away from crocodile tears and walk towards truth every chance they get. This is a very informational documentary about the recent attempts by politicians and technocrats to manufacture a new political reality. Neil Oliver delivered an excellent holiday message about lies, propaganda, and speaking up to stop the madness on his GB News program. Be sure to check out his monologue. The more we all follow Neil's example, the better off we will all be, and it will get easier the more we get out there and do it. Such wonderful words of wisdom to marinate in from Neil Oliver. And finally, last up on our features, do clowns weird you out? Did you know they were connected to the Nephilim? You know, like actual demons? Well, now you do. Go give this entry by Understanding Conspiracy a watch for an in-depth look at the link between how clowns looked back in the 1800s in comparison with the distinguishing features of the Nephilim from different artworks and paintings and all of that. And that brings us to the end of our features. Links for everything will be in the description. And now it's time for the best part of the show, my auspicious op-ed. Got some words for y'all. Let's do this. So I'd like to take this opportunity to address a topic that has affected so many of us, either directly, indirectly, or both in recent times. I'd like to call these phenomena digital disappearing and digital execution, respectively. In regards to the mounting increases in online censorship that have disconnected us from our loved ones and communities, every time we're suspended, shadow banned, fact-checked, flagged, or outright exiled for conversations and posts that would have been considered not only appropriate, but productive and enlightening not too many years back. Leading up to my own personal exile from fascist book, I knew for the past year that I was being harassed and abused relentlessly by an AI or an algorithm, a few meddling fact fabricators, and was being gang stalked by military and government types for my outspoken nature regarding all topics currently being suppressed by the mainstream media outlets. Well, I'm a free citizen. I am an American. It is quite literally illegal under our Constitution what is being done to us, and I will do anything to help preserve my country and my countrymen from the evil, elite, totalitarian weft lords that think they can buy, legislate, and mandate us all out of existence. It is not only my country and countrymen at risk here. This malignancy has spread to our friendly cousins and neighbors around the world who we very much enjoy visiting with and enjoy how we share our cultures and traditions with our friends abroad and the like. We are all being openly, unabashedly harangued by highfalutin terrorists with the aid of our respective government officials and other interested private entities who crave resources and power. They referred to this back in school as tyranny, and we have many a statute put in place to do something about it. Fortunately, yeah, that's right, fortunately, they are so corrupt and absolutely none of our legal or systemic framework compiled since our founding can be enacted or function in the wake of their premeditated devastation. I am very relieved to say
that the system is broken beyond repair and is most certainly not safe enough or functional enough to justify manning and repairing it. To be extremely blunt with everyone, it would be a great opportunity to co-create paradise if our resources were fully separated from the notion of currency, so that proper primary resource management and allotment would ensure that we all have everything that we need to lead healthy, free lives full of creativity and natural advancement. Medieval capitalism, the village style, like the pre-industrial type, common around the 13th century, is the very last time that capitalism brought a significant increase in lifestyle to commoners from the previously agriculturally focused communities that had to be constantly maintained for the community just to survive. The advent of artisans and other skilled villagers working with merchants to improve lives across the board was a very real advancement that we all need to remember worked well until it didn't, and why that happened. It would take far too long to go over this in too much depth here, but let's take a look at everything that went sour in what was once a decent partnership. Let's think about how this relates to life under the technocracy as of late. Look at their attempts at conditioning right think and self-censorship. Think about the symbology of what they're doing to us digitally when in our offline material or physical world, most of us are highly dependent on and are isolated by our online lives as a result because of the imposition and weaponization of the information superhighway. They have tied our money accounts, residences, transport, food, medical, and plenty of other needs that are now reliant on radioactive battery-operated devices that in some cases require more than one very expensive electronic device to trust and verify another. Do you know why they did this? Because we gave them the benefit of the doubt. Now that we know better, so let's all have each other's backs and do better before they try and find another way to vanquish our existence. They're setting a tone online and digitally for what they want to do to us in the real world, everyone. They're trying to normalize us being deleted, disappeared, let go, disowned, estrangement, they're trying to tear apart the family, communities, everything, countries. They're trying to tear us apart every way they possibly can. And their first in is our digital attachment. So let's try to be more mindful online, everyone, and let's keep trying to spread the word. I want to thank you for sharing another episode with me, my friends. Today's musical selection comes from me, Epitome the Burn Kid, the Anti-WEF Anthem. Links are in the description for all of the videos, music, and where to follow me online to see the entire archival project in full. Thank you so much for joining me here at the Supplemental Broadcast, and stay prepped, stay safe, continue being awesome. Guys, you guys rock. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everyone. On today's episode, featured videos are...
Hi there, everyone. Welcome to episode 14 of Supplemental Broadcast here on Alexandria Alternative Media Broadcasting and OK Copernicus Production.
I'm your host, Jess. You can also call me Epitome or Vern Kid. Please be sure to follow the entire archival project, hashtag YouTube Recommended Chronicles, on X or Tumblr for the latest in videos, memes, and more. Listen to the official soundtrack on SoundCloud. I will have links in the description box below. Just a friendly programming reminder before I get started, due to all the heavy solar activity this time of year, combined with my electromagnetic sensitivities, there may be small breaks in production when I cannot have much contact with my electronic devices for health reasons on high energy days, especially when they've been spraying heavily to combat the sun's rays, which is super toxic and bad for evolutionary health, and it makes me feel really poopy. So I'm sorry for any delays in posting, but, safety and health first. All right, on to today's selections. We're going to start off today's broadcast with some film history. Did you know the first Titanic movie was a German propaganda piece directed by Adolf Hitler? You didn't? Well, for more on this wild info nugget, check out this insightful entry from Valuetainment. Film, music, and literature have enough power to make or break a society via social contagion. So, this is a good educational one. Consume mindfully, my friends. Next up, we have an interview with Dr. Miriam Grossman, where she tells the true story behind gender theory. Let me tell you, this one is a story that everyone needs to hear. It is unbelievable how far things have gone at this point in time. We all need to know the background basics on gender theory, along with many other theories tied to communist and pedophilia ties both. While it is true that gender is very much a stereotyped set of idealistic constructs, somehow people started making gender synonymous with biological sex, which is absolutely false and is why we use sex and not gender on our ID cards and on our records. Gender is not a thing for that. Gender is more a weird aspect of romance languages and is not a concept that belongs in medicine or science. It should be removed post haste. Biological sex is what matters. That's for everyone's health and safety. For realsies. That video coming in from Brian Collins' page. A wonderful, wonderful, wonderful interview. Third up, we have a video entry, the Quran, 3 verses that everyone on every Jew needs to know. But I say everybody needs to know these because the Quran is not a book of peace. It is a manifesto for a false religion if you have any firm understanding of theology, creeds, and cults. These are 3 verses that I think every human really, 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 really needs to know. They're literally justifying genocide. They are blasphemous. They are hypocrisy, and they literally prove it's a false religion. Check it out. For more topics like this, it's the channel is Apologetics Roadshow. Give them a click for more insights. Absolutely wonderful piece. Have you heard rumblings about health, wealth, chakras, and Nasara Jasara? Were you looking for some more insight on this aspect of co-creating on the new Earth? Did you ever wonder why the powers that be want to turn us all into stressed out robots just to survive? Well, Ella Ringrose is going to hook us up with some answers about unblocking abundance and bypassing the matrix in her video. The money systems are crumbling in New Earth. Give a click. Be sure to check that out. Oh, we got another good one. So do you identify as a prophetic, having spiritual gifts, or a light worker, starseed perhaps? Have you been feeling the effects of spiritual warfare so prevalent on our plane today? Forget that so-called Great Reset and listen to this inspirational transmission regarding the divine reset. The good Lord is coming back and doing his amazing work through us and all the elements here of late. I am so excited that the beginning is nigh. This video is from the Lightworkers. It's called the Divine Reset, a word for the prophets of God rising. All shall receive. And last up on our features today, we have an entry from Suspicious Observers. It's a live show for the coming years. So we're losing our magnetic field, the poles are shifting, and most people don't even know to begin preparing for a micronova. Well, that's why Suspicious Observers gives us the 411 daily on everything we need to know about preparing for some serious space weather. Here's a great Q&A session to help you catch up on prepping for the next disaster cycle. And that brings us to today's awesome auspicious op-ed. So speaking of all that sun stuff, I'd like to take some time today to address some of my takes on the sun, the ongoing pole shift magnetic excursion, and the upcoming micronova, also known as the Great Solar Flash. And it is associated with the rapture, extraterrestrials or ultra-terrestrials, and worldwide indigenous religious prophecy alike. This matter is part of a regularly occurring disaster cycle that spins in 6,000 and 12,000 year cycles. We're currently due for a big one, and I'm here to help you get informed so that you may prepare for the exodus to New America or the next best place for you if you happen to reside on another continent. My husband and I have secured our plot in the safety zone to develop and have begun preparations for the upcoming global challenges that are essential for anyone living on either coast or any low-lying areas on our continent especially need to start preparing for. Thankfully, we're blessed to have high ground to relocate to in North America away from the dangers of grids and population centers. Other continents will not be so lucky and will have to make the necessary arrangements to weather out the biggest adventure any of us could have ever imagined. We are entering a transitionary era into a new golden age, a supernatural divine reboot that many civilizations in the past had to go underground to prepare for the radiation onslaught or to hunker down in the mountains as continents shifted and coastlines become the new ocean floor. Obviously, there are many more pressing matters that we will all have to push through as we make our preparations for this amazing new era. I feature videos daily with many solar updates, Schumann resonance, volcanic and seismic information, homesteading, and prepping advice to help all of you help yourselves and each other. We're going to have quite a few interesting decades ahead of us, and I have spent my entire life preparing to prevent or overcome a dark age throughout both my studies and my life experiences. Let's just say I had many premonitions rooted in my observations from a very young age to present, and I have been bracing for a societal collapse mentally and spiritually since adolescence. Only within the past year had I become educated and convinced that it is time for materials and relocation prepping upon having awakened last year. While no one wishes for cataclysm or catastrophe in most cases, I wish us well in our pursuits of resettlement and co-creation on the new Earth. We're watching all the places on our planet with some serious karmic history being remodeled as we speak. This is just another divine rejuvenation, long overdue, and I look forward to being a helpful guide to as many as I can along the way. All right. Well, that is our show. Again, all the links for all our videos, music, where to follow me online. We have all of that posted in the description box. Today's musical selection is under Transmissions Existential. It's a beautiful one. It's I Believe in You. If anyone's noticing, we are redoing some of the songs before I increased my editing skills. So we get a little more musical feature, a few that I didn't get to edit into my early videos. We're going to go ahead and redo those now. So thank you for joining me for this wonderful informational apocalyptic news flash. And stay awesome, stay prepped, stay safe, be excellent to each other. And I'll see you next time here on the Supplemental Broadcast. Have a great time, everyone. See y'all later. Bye-bye. On today's episode, featured videos include... Hi there, everyone. Welcome to episode 15 of the Supplemental Broadcast here on Alexandria Alternative Media Broadcasting and OK Copernicus Production. I'm your host, Jess, but you can call me Epitome or Burn Kid because I'm Epitome the Burn Kid. Please be sure to follow the entire archival project, hashtag YouTube Recommended Chronicles, on X or Tumblr for the latest videos, music, memes, and more. Come on over to my SoundCloud to listen to the official soundtrack. Links for all of this will be down below in the description box for everyone. And for all of our featured videos and featured music today, you can find that down in the box. Just a friendly programming reminder, due to all the heavy solar activity this time of year combined with my electromagnetic sensitivities, there might be small breaks in production when I can't have too much contact with electronic devices for health reasons on high energy days, especially when they've been spraying heavily to combat the sun's rays, which is super toxic and mega bad for evolutionary health. Now on to today's featured selections. Our first featured selection is a lecture from December 16th, 1984 by Manly P. Hall about the winter solstice and solar Christmas. It starts off with mathematics, astronomy, and universal laws, then connects agriculture and symbology to explain the origins and subtleties often overlooked in most mainstream accounts of these traditions. Knowledge being both viewed and beneficial, dangerous, and riddled with temptation are a major theme regarding power throughout this lecture. Be sure to check out this in-depth esoteric look at the history of the most observed winter holidays. Our next video talk about a terrifying holiday music video. Merry Christmas from Klaus Schwab. Oh, good old Santa Claus. From the channel Liability Mate. This is wild. I do not have words for this. You guys are going to have to click on the link down in the description box and let me know what y'all think, because that's really wild. A more serious related video to follow that one. Have you been waiting for some up-close and intimate information? That's right. From the son of one of the WEF's co-founders. Well, you're in the right place. Join Dr. Drew for this absolutely stunning interview, spilling all the tea on the WEF's dirty neo-Maoist deeds done not quite so dirt cheap. The interview has Pascal Najadi, and Dr. Victory comes in for this interview too. It's a really good one. Be sure to check that out. All the info we're getting about the WEF is wild, y'all. It's wild. And next in, from the China show, AI Robot Takeover. Yeah, cyberpunk problems aren't just for anime anymore, it would appear. Yay, 21st century, woohoo. China has some very real-world problems with AI and robotics in ways that might take over the world if we aren't all very mindful about what we tolerate, with increasingly oppressive technology being imposed on us by the supposed powers that be. Yeah, they're legends in their own minds, all right. Speaking of them, now we have a video from Aubrey Marcus titled Psychological Tricks. What is mass formation psychosis? Have you heard the phrases mass formation or mass formation psychosis being tossed around lately, possibly trending? There's a very good reason that this phenomenon is popping up on our radar. The psychological tricks, operations, and the resulting propaganda are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to any authoritative structure's attempts at compelling, coercing, and manufacturing consent for the blatant unconstitutional stripping of our rights and freedoms. Go check this video out for the entire lecture. It is definitely a good one. And our last feature, because we got to throw some fun in here to lighten all this up, is Awaken with JP. Is there anyone more evil than this? Last but not least, got JP Sears bringing us another edutaining skit to enlighten us more on the main characters of the New World Order. This one has to do with good buddy George Soros, it would appear. take a look at him through the eyes of JP's comedy. He's so good. Such a funny dude. And that wraps up all of our selections, which brings us to my favorite part of the show, today's auspicious op-ed. Going to say some words for y'all. They're meaningful to me. I hope they're meaningful to you. And here we go. It's my message for y'all today. It has been a wild 2024 thus far, curating this internet show to accompany the far more vast YouTube Recommended Chronicles archival project that I have been co-curating with the help of my friendly 411, the algorithm that alerts my devices, known as Magic 8 Ball. I'm forever grateful to the flashing screen that prompts me to head over to YouTube and receive the latest transmissions regarding the Great Awakening, Great Resist, and the globalists' sad attempts at their supposed Great Reset. I carefully sift through and discern over 100 videos and images daily before I cut off the excess and redundancies and simulcast the best specimens to inform the masses on both X and Tumblr. I have already been persecuted for some of the most benign and tame questions countering the official narrative sanctioned by the establishment and all their cronies thus far. I have lost friends, lost accounts, and lost many of my civil liberties for refusing to bow to a totalitarian agenda or degrade amid pressure emanating from the mass formation or groupthink mobs of insecure, unhinged conformists who have been successfully radicalized by every tier of the education system that has successfully led to a rather hefty chunk of the masses being lured into a fate of injury, chronic illness, severe disease, or excess deaths, either via mandates or social engineering. Whether persecuted by a living person or a pretentious piece of software, it has only resulted in my further dedication and furtherance of my activities in support of the truth and freedom movement sweeping all across the world with momentum growing by the moment. When you find out that most of your acquaintances wish for your demise, for the demise of our society in the name of social acceptance by their misguided peers and revenge for anyone who doesn't give them their way, it suddenly became clear that every covert narcissist I had knew finally blew their cover for good. I guess if the globalists and their professional and managerial classed underlings can wear their evil on their sleeves as they infiltrate every institution, community, and religion they can cast their evil spell on, then why not every other lowlife with ambition give it a whirl too? You know, they emulate what they see, don't they? How on earth facts, evidence, and primary sources combined with logic, reasoning, morality, and ethics were outright vanquished by the vanity of credentials, material goods, or social status, regardless of logic, reasoning, morality, and ethics, are beyond me by any authentic or intrinsic understanding of their true motives or goals, except for one facet. Over the course of several centuries, the rebranding of serfdom, peasantry, servitude, slavery, and vocation, it was possible to commit generational mentalcide that permitted the top 15% or less of the population to domineer and abuse anyone they saw fit by grooming weakness, insecurity, and self-loathing to those who would go along to get along in hopes of reward someday. Now that they've shown their hand, making it very clear they have no intention of doing anything other than disposing of you when and how they see fit, less and less people are willing to go along to get absolutely nothing, let alone to go along to get along and live a lie. Now I'll take their hand and I'll raise them 20. How on earth are we not utilizing every tool we have to constitutionally, legally, ethically, and morally vanquish these self-admitted treasonous tyrants when they are openly declared terrorists with every intention of destroying our constitutional rights, depopulating the majority of our civilization, and destroying our individual rights? I tell you how. Most people simply don't have the balls or the gall to tell it straight like I do. Tell me why Klaus Schwab is not regarded as more dangerous than Hitler, Stalin, and bin Laden combined. Tell me. because he is more dangerous than all of them. I guess those that drink adrenochrome and torture children together on private islands and at after-hours parties at Davos have a sick partnership that we need to speak up a little louder and prouder about to make it very clear we know exactly what is going on here and the jig is up. If we have the Patriot Act to subdue ISIS threats, or that of any terrorist organization, the few decent people who must work amongst the lizard swine of DC needs to get the WEF, the WHO, the UN, and every other wannabe NGO on the indefinite detainment train, and leave the rest of us alone to live in peace with no more threats of imminent terror from the millionaire to trillionaire class of classless twats. That's what they are, kids. That's right, boys and girls, you heard me. Classless twats. And that wraps up our show today. It was a good one, everyone. Thank you for joining me once more. Please be sure to check out our musical selection for the day. It's by me, Epitome the Burn Kid. The title of this track is Truth Be Told. It's a good one. And be sure to check out the music video here on this YouTube channel and also on my Rumble channel. It's a really gorgeous video. I want to thank you all for joining me again today with this lovely time we spend together. Please get out there, do something important, spread awareness, share any of these videos that resonate with you, and please click like. Please get the algorithm going. And please subscribe. I'd love to have you back for more episodes, everyone. This is going to be an amazing adventure we go on together. Stay prepped, stay safe, and stay awesome, everyone. Be excellent to one another, and I'll see you next time here on the Supplemental Report. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a good night. On today's episode, featured videos include... Hi there, everyone. Welcome to episode 16 of the Supplemental Broadcast here on Alexandria Alternative Media Broadcasting, an OK Copernicus production. I'm your host, Jess. You can call me Epitome or Burn Kid, because I am Epitome the Burn Kid. Please be sure to follow the entire archival project, hashtag YouTube Recommended Chronicles on X or Tumblr for the latest videos, memes, music, and more. Listen to the official soundtrack on SoundCloud. Links for all of this and more will be in the description box below. And just a friendly programming reminder, heavy solar activity is very common this time of year. I'm very electromagnetically sensitive to that, and I am also a electronic music producer, and I do a lot of electronic work, so I have to ration my energy very well, considering all of these changes as we go through this wonderful shift. Welcome to 5D, everyone. The beginning is nigh. So, now that we've had that lovely disclaimer, let's go on to today's featured video recommendations. If you're anything like myself, you have known your entire life that we do not live in a free country and that our government is here for no one's benefit aside from their endless search for narcissistic supply. Then solely focuses all their efforts on how to exploit said supply from the general public. In our first video, Roman Balmakov takes us through the COVID drama that opens the floodgates for martial law in America. Indefinite detention for the unvaccinated is the next step in the communist, capitalist, fascist-fused nightmare-scape of post-Patriot Act, post-COVID American legislative abuse. Check out his channel, Facts Matter, with Roman Balmakov for more. So, the communist. I mean the feminist. Let's be real. The commies infiltrated all minority movements. So both made being a biological male a stigmatized existence, brimming with emasculation and discrimination for any male wishing to be treated better than mere detestable chattel to be ordered about. Well, in our second video, who could have possibly known the backlash of this behavior would be disenfranchised straight males transitioning into women then claiming they're lesbians. Well, I most certainly saw that coming. Helen Joyce and Andrew Gold discuss how only a man can identify as a trans woman in this lively interview on identity politics. And now we have James Lindsay is back on the broadcast with this new Discourses Bullets mini podcast laying out the framework and strategy of communist entryism. Everyone needs an in to get influence, and communists are literally obsessed with the infiltration and conquest of the working class. Whether they know that's what they're up to varies by how brainwashed a communist in question actually is. I don't care if it's communist, socialists, or Democrats who talk all this talk about workers and the working class, but it's a trap and it's a lie. Learn more about the ins and outs of the current revolution attempts on the New Discourses channel. It's one of my favorites, personally speaking. Now we have Patera and Appalachia's Homestead back on the supplement with her video for all of us chosen ones. It would appear that the Great Awakening is full steam ahead over in Patera's neck of the woods on her channel, and I am most happy to see more people identifying with the shift. We're all on different parts of our journey through rapturous phenomenon of biblical proportions, and getting ready to know the cast of characters is really inspirational during the ascension process that we're all embarking on together. And now we have from the channel GB00. The title of this video is "The Church is Infiltrated" by Mari Emanuel. That's the title says it all. The church is infiltrated. I must say that I fully agree with this notion, and it is why I left the church upon coming of age and reaching further enlightenment from scripture and lectures. Check out this hot take on the church from Mari Emanuel, shared by the channel GB00. We are seeing around us what happens when you try to remove God or spirituality from everything and replace it with government, science, and economic moral statutes in its place. Needless to say, nothing good has resulted from this unless you're extremely depraved or a common criminal like the majority of that so-called professional managerial class and like the government workers and stuff. So yeah, they used to be called taskmasters and yowmen back in the days of overt slavery. Why they can't see it for what it is in modern times, I could not tell you. These are the same people who disavow both God and the notion of evil just so that they have an excuse to play God and define legalities. Don't be fooled by any of this. There's nothing moral about legalism. Moral is not synonymous with legal and vice versa. That's just not how it works. And our final feature today should be helpful for anyone interested in learning more about the Hindu root source holy book, the Bhagavad Gita. I think it is a very important that regardless of your spiritual beliefs or religion, that everyone take the time to learn more about other traditions directly from the source in lieu of taking someone's word for what they claim is written, just so that you have a first-hand account and just so you're keeping stuff accurate. This is a complete summary of this holy book and should aid in further exploration and study if you choose to study and learn more about that. And that wraps up all of our video selections for today, which brings us to my favorite part of the show, the auspicious op-ed. So I got some words for everyone. They meant a lot to me, and I hope they mean something to you. Here goes. Infiltration appears to be a major dynamic that we all must become more adept at clearly deciphering, identifying, and dismantling for a more efficient restoration of peace and integrity to our society. The long game was taken to a whole new level since the contemporary era began unfolding before the crash on Black Tuesday back in 1929. I know a little more than most, having a most unique upbringing, very post-depression style back in the 80s and 90s, having been raised by my grandparents, great-grandparents, and great-great-grandmother in a multi-generational home in a very small rural town on the eastern shore of Maryland. The things you see today are so much more senseless, thoughtless, and artificial than they were before the world was flung into its first major global financial nightmare, pushing systems and stability to the brink of total destruction. If only they had been wise enough to cut their losses and walk away from the lazy dreams of entitled decadence because they thought they could enslave money to make them more money in this thing called a stock market. The ancestors of many of the major players on the stage today are rooted in the financial debauchery that rose to fashion after the fraud and devastation of the early industrial antebellum era. Let us not forget how many rubber checks were cashed like they were legit, written by the CSA, not the USA. And CSA is the Confederate States of America. But they were cashed overseas as though it was the legitimate federal government everyone was used to cashing checks from, and not those despot Confederates. Only now does my grandfather's remark, "Damn communists, we can't ever let them think they can take this country ever again," whenever we would pass the rebel flags driving down the road in the country. When I was young, I couldn't imagine the Democratic Party returning to its disgusting Jacksonian roots the way we have seen those commies show their true colors as they ran every sensible liberal and moderate clear out of town over the past decade. Globalists have no use for good people in any system. Just like the communists exiled the intelligentsia back in the Soviet Union, if they didn't sentence them to worse than being exiled, when they were just no longer convenient for use, they were done with them. They washed their hands of them, and that was who did most of their mental work, their brain work. But they just didn't believe in communism, and they never submitted to it, so they were exiled or worse happened to them. So let's remember the same thing's probably going to follow. Anti-globalists and anti-totalitarians who wish to defend and uphold our Constitution will be regarded as enemies of the state by every institution puppeteered by the deep state, NGOs, and stakeholder capitalists. Patriotism has been misconstrued as right-wing nationalism when the truth is that this is just what communists do because they are illiterate in the name of solidarity and further the illiteracy of future generations to cement the destruction of the respect for individuals and their rights through towing the line and following the script. The Red Scare was not in vain, but it did not in any way prevent the communist infiltration of our higher education systems in the 60s and 70s, followed by the KGB's admitted infiltration of our K-12 education system in 1984. I encourage everyone to do their research so that they can finally come to understand that neoliberalism, neoconservatism, imperialism, communism, socialism, fascism, despotism, totalitarianism, and authoritarianism are all different flavors of the same narcissistic disease, the insatiable quest for more and more supply at any cost. It is up to us to nip this in the bud, slow and steady, nudge method infiltration, without any hesitation. In the beginning, I was far more open to debate and reasoning when I thought they would approach new or different ideas with maturity and openness. Then I found out just how unreasonable the mass formation was common amongst the normies, has become especially common within the self-declared leftists. The plot was set in motion long ago, enough that on some cases more than 2 generations have been indoctrinated to side with idealism that is not being presented honestly or completely. American school children go to school to learn that everything in America is immoral and unethical in this twisted, quasi-secular, Luciferian, neo-Maoist brainwashing model imposed by force after the neo-Marxists planted the seeds during the Cold War era. Starting to make sense yet? I'm just getting started here at the Supplemental Broadcast, and we're going to uncover more as we go on this journey together. That wraps up our show for today, brings us to our musical selection. This is under my musical project Aztec Adventure. The track is titled Fresco. Go on over to SoundCloud and check that out. Official music video is up on YouTube and Rumble. I'd like to thank everyone for coming along with me on this adventure for another episode. Please help this get out to more people in the algorithm. If you learned anything, you found this helpful or informational, please do me a favor and subscribe, like, and share. And also, when you follow me on the archive, if there are stories that you think people need to see, by all means, retweet, reblog, repost, share. Let's get the word out. Like, we outnumber these guys, and we are way smarter. Let's do this. Stay prepped, stay awesome, stay safe, and be excellent to one another. I love y'all, and I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye. On today's episode, featured videos include... Hi there, everyone. Welcome to episode 18 of the Supplemental Broadcast here on Alexandria Alternative Media Broadcasting and OK Copernicus production. I'm your host, Jess, but you can call me Epitome or Burn Kid because I am Epitome the Burn Kid. Please be sure to follow the entire archival project, hashtag YouTube Recommended Chronicles on X or Tumblr for the latest videos, memes, music, and more. Be sure to head over to SoundCloud for the official soundtrack. And all the links are down in the description box below for everyone. Again, just friendly reminder for the rest of the season, due to heavy solar activity at this time of year, and with all the electromagnetic sensitivities that I have and all the electronic equipment I have to use, there might be little breaks in production for me to regain my health because too much exposure to frequencies really does degrade my health. So just keep that in mind. If I'm missing for a day or two, don't worry, I'll be back and catch everything up ASAP. And on to today's featured video recommendations, everyone. So first up, Mr. MBB 333 has his eyes on the sky and connects that knowledge quite well to what goes on deep in the ground or in the ocean. In this coverage, he covers the large X4 solar flare and solar tsunami that triggered the 7.5 earthquake and tsunami in Japan occurring earlier this January. For daily updates on UAP, solar activity, earthquakes, volcanic activity, Yellowstone monitoring, and more, be sure to head over to his channel and subscribe to keep up to date on the latest developments on natural and cosmic phenomena. Our second video comes in on the channel Real Bible Believers, and the title of this video is The Secret to Why the Angels Built the Pyramids. Hebrews 8:10 through 9:10 with Dr. Gene Kim. And Dr. Gene Kim is from UC Berkeley, and he leads us in a lecture on biblical scripture and history about the New Covenant and Kingdom scriptures in the book of Hebrews. This talk is a deep dive into Christian theology, including revealing the secret as to why the angels built the pyramids. If you have been paying attention to the themes on the supplemental broadcast, you've probably noticed mentions of angels, demons, aliens, archangels, and other ascended masters, because you'll find that it should be confirmed in the near future that these terms are somewhat synonymous with one another in certain instances, and we have much to understand once the full truths that have been hidden from us for millennia will finally be revealed once and for all. And check out the channel Real Bible Believers for more academically based lectures about scripture and Christian theology. Next up, Elizabeth April is a clairvoyant lightworker who shares her gift and her experiences with all of us on YouTube. Take a look at this video for her premonitions about how things are going to be different on different timelines for the years 2024 through 2028. Magic 8 Ball has been exposing me to many different spiritually gifted people across multiple backgrounds and religions, each giving different takes on the Great Awakening, also known as the Ascension process. That is shaping planet Earth through vibration, light, and frequencies as we evolve in real time together, moment by moment. She has a good understanding of solar flares, cosmic rays, and the corresponding shifts in our dimensional realm. Although quite different, her takes on the topics covered on the show are shared by many other prophets, light workers, the 144,000 starseeds, and chosen ones alike who have been documenting the fall of the old world and the birth of the new earth, like we do here on our program. Third up, from Dr. John Campbell's channel, this video is titled The New Cancer Vaccine. Dr. John Campbell discusses immunity, vaccines, and cancer with a colleague in this interview about a new anti-cancer. The next word in quotes is for a good reason, vaccine. They discuss facts, medical science, big pharma, and their experiences navigating the healthcare field. For an understanding of the process medical professionals have to go through submitting papers, getting research clearance, and the regulatory approval process, this is a good video to view in regards to providing an insider's look into the treatments and policies that could affect us all. Check out Dr. Campbell's channel for the latest on COVID research and inquiry, excess deaths, and the latest public health concerns as they are reported on his daily updates. And now we have Devin Gibson. This video is titled, LOL, This Didn't End Well for These Woke College Students. This compilation, this is a wild compilation of woke college students taking on different panel guests from Young America's Foundation, speaking events on college and university campuses across the country regarding different topics brought up often during identity politics debates amongst young adults on campus. Devin Gibson emcees this video compilation of behavior and attitude you have to see to believe, followed by seriously based counters that make you feel a little better that this blatantly ignorant, hostile behavior displayed by a certain covertly fascist group of young leftists is being put in its place, revealing them as the malevolent, narcissistic cowards we know that they are. For everyone who claims these types of sickos don't exist, this compilation is just the tip of the iceberg you'll find in proof on YouTube and on many other social media platforms about this really, really, really bad behavior from left-leaning youth. Which brings us to the our next video. It's channel Patriot Podcast. And the video's title is Lesbian Gives Vivek the Finger, episode number 23. Vivek Ramaswamy takes on questions, debate, and discourse openly with a lesbian woman who asks him about his stance on LGBTQ issues in this video from Patriot Podcast. It is very refreshing to see anyone at all these days engage in open debate and foster solid free speech and expression with dignity and grace on some difficult topics that make many very sensitive. This is one of these moments caught on film that truly rivals, that truly shows rivals in debate find empathy and elevate one another after some difficult moments where feelings become very charged. To see some excellent communication skills on display and people of differing views reaching common but differing ground over common concerns for LGBTQ youth. Be sure to watch this video in full. And that wraps up all of our video features for today and brings us to my favorite part of the show, the auspicious op-ed. So I composed some words for everyone, and they meant something to me, and I hope they mean something to you. If all it means is that you want to get out and share some words of your own, please do. So here we go. The unrelenting progressive infantilization of young people that became the norm not too many years after my childhood is the root source of the nearly incomprehensible woke mind virus infecting the vast majority of people born after the early 80s. It is most unfortunate that most people I know who are younger than myself are ill-suited as peers because of how the changing child-rearing dynamics instilled on those a few years younger than myself resulted in a stunting of their emotional and social learning to the point that they behave as middle schoolers while entering middle age. Now that I understand the socialist and communist undercurrents inflicted especially on those holding degrees who hold left-leaning values and books in a similar fashion to a religious zealot or cult member in regards to addressing the matter of secular abuse to the mind, body, and spirit is paramount. These influential figures impose themselves as some kind of moral authority over sophistication, while only now are we finally seeing the fruits of their sophistry come to harvest. I remember feeling very sorry for the kids I knew who were sequestered in isolation by both religious and secular idealists or iconoclasts. My lifelong spiritual journey may have never taken the form of atheism. I have clearly watch many an atheist behave in a religious fashion and make a false idol to worship and follow in the form of things, ideals, and teachings. I have also watched these atheists primarily place books, great leaders, and political platforms before God while declaring their supposed superiority over the power that placed them here, who they refuse to believe in, let alone understand they are an integral part of. Talk about killing God. Thankfully, there aren't enough of these types for this to be more than a nasty infection or wound on God. The absolutely ridiculous government-mandated schooling was intended to cement this indoctrination, while the debt-based slavery we call employment in this country furthered the hardwired notion to do anything for their lord, known as money, resulted in the exploitation of survival drives throughout the citizenry. Have these fools conflated survival with God? Are they so ravenously ego-driven they impose domination and rule by furthering competition, rendering it more difficult to survive so that they could not possibly think they'd be threatened by belief in God through a deliberate long game of stratification and planned obsolescence to force their artificial notion of caste and merit so intensely that it naturally ingrained to the psyche, then through culture? Do they know their godlike qualities they try to utilize, but fail in doing so, are a clear sign of their admission to being a part of God and his presence, while their defiance is what seals the deal to their suffering and strife? How is this permanent immaturity that is seemingly running rampant worldwide not rooted in rebellion against God and refusal of spiritual growth required to finish maturing as a person overall? The demand for sophistication results in retardation, and the proof is in the pudding. You see, to be sophisticated is to receive external validation from sophists. If you do not know what a sophist is, its roots lie in the youth of the classical world, where the elitists and aristocrats of their time, who were well versed in rhetoric but not critical thought and logic, would engage in political discourse full of fallacy and showboating. This act is known as sophistry, committed by sophists, which is the root source of where our term sophisticated comes from. Sophistry and sophistication are not virtues, but are upheld as virtues by the ignorant due to their sleek, refined veneer and illusory facet of affluence. To the untrained eye, these types may pass themselves off as wise, but if they interact with someone who holds true wisdom and virtue, they will be revealed as the shallow, superficial attention whores they attempted to conceal with weak, empty rhetoric. When these types get into an isolation tank, like college, graduate school, work, or other organizations, the condition further cements. It is far worse than you can imagine for their offspring and future generations brought up in the cycle of sophisticated mental abuse, also known as mental side. I grew up with kids who were free from this cycle of abusive sophistry until I myself reached double digits. Then sophisticated abuse was not only the norm, but it was encouraged by the strange parenting trend that they called helicopter parenting, which was a bane to the existence of big kids, teenagers, and cool people everywhere of all ages. Where did these parents learn to behave this way, you ask? Books and TV shows that promote books and experts as false idols. As the false idols they are, to further the sin of idolatry as a norm across the globe. The kids who were brought up strict with nothing but books and no freedom actually turned out much worse than the people who I grew up with, who just could be normal, or even the people who had religious abuse. And that's really sad, because at least in a home with religious abuse, there is still hope, because at least there is still religion. There's something to base hope on. And in a home where God is a myth that enrages the secular parent to high heaven, who wants to act like a god, the hope present in that home is going to be far less than in a religiously abusive home. So that's just something for everyone to think about. Books became gods. Experts became gods. Education became some weird god thing. It all became theology. Science became a religion. Isn't that something? Just some thoughts for everyone. So that brings us to the end of our show. Please, if you could help me in the algorithm and share, subscribe, follow, come find me. Be sure to check out all the videos. I put the links in the description box for everyone. Today's musical selection comes from my project, Hunter Hacks and the Western Pleasures. The track is Slack, Pick It Up. And yeah, it's been lovely having everyone for another show. I hope everyone learned a lot and has a lot to think about and has a lot of inspiration to go out there and make a difference on New Earth. Please stay safe, stay prepped, be awesome, continue being awesome. You guys are awesome. And be excellent to one another. And I want to thank all of my new followers for coming along. It's really, really exciting that someone cares about this little project of mine. So please stay tuned for more. And we'll see you next time here at the Supplemental Broadcast. Bye, everyone. On today's episode, featured videos include... Hi there, everyone. Welcome to episode 17 of the Supplemental Broadcast here on Alexandria Alternative Media Broadcasting, an OK Copernicus production. I'm your host, Jess, but you can call me Epitome or Burn Kid because I am Epitome the Burn Kid. Please be sure to follow my entire archival project, hashtag YouTube Recommended Chronicles, on X or Tumblr for the latest videos, memes, music, and more. Come on over to SoundCloud to listen to the official soundtrack and all the music featured here on the show every episode. Links for all of this are down in the description. Before we get started, our friendly little programming reminder, energy sensitivity. Have you guys been feeling it? I know I had to take a break from working yesterday and I'm just getting caught up today. So, when there's a lot of solar activity and geophysical activity, energy gets pretty wild and I become more electromagnetically sensitive. So if there's any delays in my posts on my website, on my, X or Tumblr feed or any of that, I apologize. But as soon as I feel better, I always go catch up right away. So you don't miss any of the cool stuff that Magic 8 Ball shows to me. So now, without further ado, on to today's featured video recommendations, starting with Dr. Bean Medical Lectures, Sean Barkovich patient interview, neurological issues after vaccination. So, we're starting today off with two new videos featuring some COVID developments in research. First up, we have Dr. Bean Medical Lectures with an interview of Sean Barkovich about neurological issues that have been reported after vaccination. This medical experiment should have never been called a vaccine or been further tinkered with after its original inventor rendered it too dangerous to be fit for purpose. This substance appears to be here as two things. And by this substance, I mean this vaccine and this entire bit of behavior about coming at the world for a pandemic treaty. It's here as a fascist test to see how much fascism they can literally get away with no recourse. And it's an attempt at GMOing the human population so that they have some type of trademark on our genetics and so to further their thought that they own us. So go listen to this lecture to be further informed about the things that have been going on behind the scenes with this GMO juice. And second up, we have from Custom RX is the name of the channel, Spike Protein Over-the-Counter Remedies. And it's a little gem here for anyone, as you probably guessed, over-the-counter stuff. Unfortunately, not everyone was wise enough, spiritual enough, or in some cases worldly enough to say no to this heinous scheme unleashed on the public after their man-made premeditated catastrophe we all had to deal with for the past several years. If they have to bribe, coerce, compel, stigmatize, or mandate a medical treatment, be fully aware that the cure is probably worse than the disease itself. Anyone with a solid C or above in high school biology should have known that mRNA is a precursor to DNA, and it is not a vaccine by any stretch of the imagination. They don't want to help us. They want to mutate and manipulate us into better slaves and have never had another motive aside from depopulating those deemed deplorable by anyone with elitist values. And third up, another installment from Valuetainment, Gene Editing, How CRISPR Will Change Everything is the title of this one. So, we got Valuetainment back on our list with the third video feature of the day, and what a great video to follow the first two about COVID. Valuetainment takes on the topic of gene editing and a new company's venture into the genetic modification of human beings as though it is some kind of virtue. This would only be seen as a virtue by a complete narcissist, but it would appear that narcissists are the only ones who make it into the upper echelons of the public sphere, and they wish to project their sins and deficiencies onto the rest of us in a tired attempt at normalizing their dysfunctional, reprehensible ways. So passé. My goodness. Now we have a entry from Up Forth, Jimmy Dore Show. So what is Zionism exactly, with Dan Cohen? And ever since the dispute in Gaza cropped back up intensely during the end of last year, the topic of Zionism has come back into the forefront of many discussions. Anti-Semitism, Judaism, and Zionism are not as cut and dry as so many might believe. Check out this entertaining but informative talk on the Jimmy Dore Show about what constitutes Zionism. This is a very good discussion to distinguish, listen to and distinguish what is literally Zionism, what is Judaism, knowing the difference. A lot of people have been mixing that up lately, and what constitutes and getting worked up over nothing. So for more awareness on what actually does constitute, check this out. And please share, help spread awareness on all of these topics, actually. Yeah. And now, in at number 5, Black Eye presents Urgent Update, Major DNA Upgrade Underway on Earth. Listen carefully from the Pleiadians. Did you know that our DNA is not fixed? Did you know that the sun's rays changes our DNA? Were you aware that we're all evolving at the fastest rate known in all human history and what we need to be prepared to handle? Well, this video is here to help fill you in and catch you up on the latest energy updates along with the corresponding ascension symptoms you might expect. Black Eye Presents brings us this very helpful winter energy update. Very, very, very insightful one from those guys. And up last, we have Sublation Media with Douglas Lane, How to Judge the 20th Century and the Contemporary Left, Chris Catrone versus Conrad Hamilton. Is the title of this video. So last up, we're going to take a look at how the other half lives so that we might better understand this hubbub brought on by the contemporary leftists and attempt to understand their perspectives and aims. Chris Catrone debates Conrad Hamilton regarding how to judge the 20th century and the contemporary left, courtesy of the channel Sublation Media with Douglas Lane. I will always strive to do my best to co-curate selections with the help of my friendly, super auspicious algorithm, Magic 8 Ball, to provide as many deep cuts and perspectives on some quasi-taboo topics so that we best understand and overcome our new societal challenges with this technocratized communication dilemma that's been amplified here of late. So definitely check that out for more on what these leftists are thinking so that you can try to understand it better. That wraps up our selections and brings us to my favorite part of the show, my auspicious op-ed. I'm going to say some words for y'all. They mean something to me, and I hope they mean something to you. At a bare minimum, I hope that they get you thinking of some words of your own. I'd like to take a little bit of time to address my political affiliation, or more accurately speaking, my lack thereof, because I think one of the biggest lessons to take away from current events is the fraud and scam that politics has finally been revealed to be. Aristotle's claim that men are political animals is very relevant today, as is the hyperbole found in Orwell's Animal Farm. When most look to politics as the only means to devise society's plans and much-needed solutions, I dare to ask, aren't politics not only a distraction and detraction to the aims it serves to meet, but aren't they also the driving root issue when we all stand back and look at things rationally? Minarchy and volunteerism are two frameworks that best encapsulate my post-political perspective of the world. Thus far, over the past few millennia, we can scan plenty of history, philosophy, economic, and political science sources across all forms of media, and surmise that politics overall has failed the vast majority of the population, only resulting in a better life for very strategically selected segments of society until it no longer does so. I will start off describing minarchism so that my specific views on anarchy are best understood for the betterment and stabilization of mankind. Unlike the generalized lack of hierarchy or rulers that can lead one's imagination to run wild down the long winding road of what-ifs within unrefined anarchy, in minarchist philosophy, the virtues of localized, decentralized systems to support basic infrastructural needs can be satisfied on both daily and emergency situations, without the waste, decay, and division that are inherently mainstays to all hierarchical structures. When you incorporate that transiency and immediacy blended into this particular social fabric by the addition of volunteerist elements A flexible, fluid dynamic replaces the rigid, incremental ways of proceeding hierarchies. The as-needed nature of monarchical approaches to anarchy solves many of the problems that a lack of structure for resource management or an emergency council to solve problems in the most efficient way, while freeing up much more of the public and their time to pursue and innovate their own endeavors and talents to share with the community for the betterment of all. The volunteer focus of volunteerism solves the problems that come with the rigid, inflexible nature of election procedures, term limits, and the entire overbearing legislative processes we have seen abused over the past few centuries, especially. We have watched an extremely machine-like political system mutate that is anti-human in nature and seeks to reduce all life to fully malleable automatons in a centralized top-down oligarchy where the few most removed from the majority of us decide to lord over our lives in a way that suits their desires without any consent, consultation, or approval from the vast majority of us, while deceptively claiming that the systems they force us to voice our opinions through is their proof of a so-called democracy, a long discounted constitution, and a decaying republic. We have watched all the puppeteer strings, and tacky set dressing make a mockery of all that had been indoctrinated to hold dear, near, and sacred. After enough acts, this cut-rate clown show in a one-ring circus becomes more revealing to the dystopian nephilic origins to such symbology's advent. I cannot unsee the shock and horror revealed to me by the establishment, can you? Once you see it, you cannot just simply unsee it or will the image away. Many of the mainstays of civilization over the course of history have reached their zenith, and it is time for something different so that we can continue to evolve and grow as a species. We have been stunted by what once brought us increased prosperity and innovation. These things simply happen over time, and I think it's best that we learn to deal with this inevitable facet in fresh and creative fashion, holding on to what is still useful and letting go of what elements have run their course. It is time to get ready for a whole new world. It will transform further with each awakening as our species ascends from our current societal confines that we are currently growing out of. And that is our show for today. I want to thank you so much for joining me. Our musical selection for this episode is Transmutation from my musical project, Aztec Adventure. Please be sure to head down to the description box for links for this song and all the links for everything regarding the Supplemental Broadcast down there, so you have all your references. And please like, share, subscribe, follow, and stay safe. Stay prepped. Be awesome. Be excellent to each other.